Get in close enough there.
Are you ready, Glenn? Okay, excuse me, everybody. The reason we all came here tonight is to enjoy each other's company and to listen to our mom and dad and grandpa and grandma tell some stories. Okay? And so, and then if anybody else wants to tell some stories too, some memories or whatnot. So we're going to have it quiet, okay? Jenny and Jim, you're going to have it quiet. So everybody can hear, and we're taping it for our posterity. So, Daddy? Go ahead.
John, why don't we, before we start, go around and have everybody tell our name and who the parents are, and so that we'll start with we'll start with you and say why we're here and the date, today's date.
I just said all that.
I got that. The date.
Okay, we're here. You got all that, Clay? Okay, my name's John. I am the youngest and the favoritist. You know, Mom and Dad can make everybody feel like you're the favorite, even though, you know I am. Well, I don't know, what was I going to say now? I forgot. The date. Today is Friday the 13th. It's 2/13/04. Okay, Linda. Lane.
Somebody's playing with a toy somewhere that's making noise.
I'm Lane, and I'm the oldest, and I'm the favoritist too.
Darlene.
I'm Darlene. I'm Ruth and Daryl's daughter. I'm the oldest, and I'm the favoritist.
Pearl.
I'm Pearl. Ruth's daughter. And I'm
Talk loud.
I'm Roxy, Ruth and Daryl's daughter, and I am the favorite daughter.
Mommy?
I am your mama. Grandmama. And they're all
You can tell us later.
My favorite, yeah. I'm Bill Sam. I am the father and the grandfather of all this crap.
This is about, what, a fifth of it? What's that?
It's starting to get dark.
Yeah.
But they'll make me very happy. And I'll turn it on over to my next favorite grandson.
I'm Clark. I'm Ruth and Daryl's son, and everyone hates me.
Frank?
I'm Frank, married to Darlene, Ruth and Daryl's daughter, and I'm the favorite son-in-law. Favorite son-in-law.
No, you aren't. Janet.
Okay.
I don't have favorites.
I'm Emma, Ruth and Daryl's daughter, and I'm the sweetest.
Charlie?
I'm Charles.
Turn around.
And sit back.
Yeah. Uncle Glenn's taping it too.
Alright.
Oh, you feel
Is that better?
Yeah.
I'm Charles. I'm Daryl and Ruth's son. I am maybe not the hated one, but the unwanted one.
Hi, Mindy. I am
Angel.
2000. My gosh. Oh, I belong to Ruth and Daryl. Yeah, that's me. I'm sorry, I take good pictures. Okay, Carmen.
Carmen.
No.
Yeah, say it.
Say it. I'm Carmen. I belong to my mom and dad. Tell them Darlene and Frank. Darlene and Frank and I'm with Brad.
Tell them what you do in the snow.
No.
You told me. He runs barefoot.
Felicia.
I'm Felicia, and this is my husband, John.
Quit hiding behind
And who
John.
is your parents? Dan and Sherry. And you're the favorite?
You want to go to? Okay, Sherry. Oh, hey, wait, stop. Okay.
Camera roll.
Dad, thanks. You missed Ethan. He was over here.
Well, Mom. Hang on.
But you're on, Sherry, so you might as well
Okay,
talk
go.
while you're waiting.
I'm tongue-tied. I forgot how.
Oh,
They're upstairs. Just
Oh, am I on?
Yeah, you're going.
I'm Sherry, Danny's wife, the third son.
Yeah.
Third son of Samuel and Lewis. I love very much. And that's about it.
Danny's the second son.
I'm the second son, sorry.
No, it's not. Oh, yeah. Second, third. That's what she meant.
Yeah.
Third child.
Third child, second son.
Let's not be.
Well, I'm sorry. I just didn't want to think he was Mike.
All right, Tam.
I'm Tammy, and I'm Dan and Sherry's third daughter.
A lot of noise going on over here.
Are you sure?
Sam.
I'm Sam, and I'm Dan and Sherry's son, the youngest.
Glenn.
I'm Glenn LaSwear, the first son-in-law. Elaine's husband.
Ruthie, can you do it yet? No. Okay.
I am Ruth. I am me.
Why are you down here?
We came down for my son's wedding. Friend's wedding.
Cullen?
You have to get out of the way.
My name is Carlin Flake. I married Jenny because she likes my money. Just kidding, I don't have money.
Jenny, come closer.
And I'm his son.
I apologize for my husband.
How does that work?
Jenny, introduce yourself.
I'm Jennifer.
Who are your parents?
Marie Flake. Lewis.
She is Candy and John's daughter.
Oh yes, John and Candace.
And introduce your son.
This is Mason.
I'm Nathan.
See Tito? There's Tito. This is our son Mason.
Okay, we got know. There.
Yeah?
I'm Daryl, I'm with Bruce, and I'm the family outlaw.
Well, I don't.
Get the light.
Yeah.
I'm
Is that my
Kim.
light that came on?
No.
It's right here. Kim.
Yeah.
And this is Aaron, my
Aaron.
husband.
And you're Joe.
I am Johnny. Me.
Aaron, what's your middle name? Devon.
Who's up
And we have a son, Ethan.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Ethan.
All right, Daddy.
I'm Candy. I'm married to John. What? And Jenny, mine, and Colin, and Aaron, and Kim, and Derek, and he's upstairs playing with the kids.
Tell us a little more.
And John's mom and dad probably didn't like me at first, but I think they do now. You're a little ornery. Oh, Jen.
All right.
I love you guys.
Did we miss anybody?
Sometimes we hear some stories.
You've all heard our stories several times.
Now, but we don't have them on tape.
Yeah. And,
Now's your chance.
but we're not going to tell the story, but if you've got any questions that you'd like to ask us, whether it's part of our life or your lives or anything, we're here to answer your questions.
Yeah, let's hear about the sweet you spent your honeymoon with.
What?
Tammy, are you there?
Tammy?
Tammy, where are you?
She's right here.
He's right there.
When Tammy was about 8 years old, wasn't it, Tammy? You went up to the mountains with us, you and Teresa and Tammy. Tammy. Yeah, and we were fishing and we made up a little song. What was that? Tammy, tell Grandpa who it was.
Who was with you? Do you remember?
Danny, wasn't it?
It was me and Teresa and Danny.
Danny.
Okay, you got the story right. And we made up a little song about it. What was it, Tammy? Remember it?
I don't remember.
You don't remember it?
Do you remember, Mom?
Oh, yes, she did.
I don't know if I remembered or not. I need Tammy to tell me.
Grandpa knows it.
When they come back, walking back without any fish, we sing them the song. What was it, Tam?
Tammy.
Yeah, here comes Grandpa Sam and Dan.
With
They've
no
got
pictures
pictures.
in their hand.
We can sing that song. You know, one of the things I remember about Tammy is when we came home, we had gone up and it took so long, she thought, to get up there. When we started back, she fell asleep. And when we got home, she said, Grandma, did the door shut at this time? Remember that, Tammy?
Didn't take long to get home.
I just thought about that story.
Valerie,
Honey,
do that.
Ask her something.
honey, you want to hear about their...
I would like Daddy
I
to
ain't
tell
gonna do it.
us
I'm
a
not
story.
gonna do it.
I don't think very many of
I'm
you
not
have
gonna
heard
do it.
this
You might as
story.
well be still.
And so I don't know how we can get him to tell the story. But it's important that you all know it and hear it.
What story is it?
You tell it since he won't.
No, he does it. He does it good.
No way.
It was when he was a boy.
The man is about to die, and I'm going to tell a story on it.
Push the button, push it halfway down, and hold it. And
Wanna do it?
turn spring.
Anyway, what's that other story?
Any of you wanted to ask us a question right here?
Elaine just asked you a question.
I want to hear the story about the bird or something.
Push it up and in.
Is that what it was?
Bird's over my shoulder.
Huh?
Wrap spring, I can take a picture.
Well, tell us it.
No. There's too many little kids here.
Well, then tell them about the hubcap.
Yeah, tell him about the hubcap. Every night when...
Well, I might tell that one because it...
Well, that's 10 times worse than the bird one.
But I won't tell it now. You know, I'm a cousin on this young fella, about maybe a little bit younger than you. And then about 15 and 16. My Aunt Annie, had a little dog named Fritz. And every time a car thought the tires was hot enough. It wet those tires down. And kind of embarrassing, you know. And so we decided to put a stop to it. He wired the wheels all up on fire, second fire. He had to hurry to get out to the car and have that little off. Come out and make him drown it, pull the button, and man, he went away hollering. It hurt him pretty bad. But he didn't quit on them tires anymore either. You know, back in those days, you had to flat about every other day. You had to get the change tires and it all more shelf. Anyway, any more questions? I guess we can go home.
Questions?
Tell them about the old Model A Ford. Tell them about the old Model A Ford.
They didn't know about it. They were only in the book.
No, they didn't. And my kids don't know anything about it. So would you tell it, Pete?
Well, I had a friend who lived across the road, and he was a young man, but he worked he took auto mechanics in high school. And when he got out of high school, they got him hired him right before truck as a number one mechanic. He was very good.
Can't hear you, Mom.
We went up to Holly Lake, and there was a lot of bears up there. Daddy had a whole bunch of watermelons out.
Where were we at? At Martin's cabin?
Do you remember going up there? And we, well, first off, Ruthie, we cut her up like Forrest chasing a bear.
They'll be butcher knife.
But it's there, the tree there, and back. And she was only, what, 4 years old, something like that. And in that night, like, Daddy left his watermelons out on the porch. And he heard a little bear out there gobbling them down. He happened to have a watermelon up. It was upstairs. It was upstairs. They were down underneath it. He dropped that watermelon on top of the bear's head. Boy, the two little baby bears, up the tree they went. She growled a little bit, and up the tree they went. And they finished the watermelon after they were well asleep.
That old bear, boy, she was mad. She just reared up on her hind feet. When she did that, them little bears went up that tree. It sounded like a hurricane going up through it, breaking limbs and stuff. One time my daddy and mama was there alone. They was in the afternoon, and they was sitting in the front room there. Little dog was barking and raising cane out there. So my daddy went to the door to see what it was he was barking at. There's a big old bear standing out by the door. When he opened the door, there that bear was face right in his face. And he screamed and hollered. And he said, I don't know what it scared me or the bear. The bear took off.
I was there all along Sunday. I wasn't able to go Thursday home. They weren't sure. Out the window, them old bears were standing up looking in the window.
There was a big window, probably bigger than that. And that old bear would stand up and look inside the cabin.
Be like old Walter do it. Give it old Walter, he's a big Walter do it. He came from Stafford. He went to school up there, that college up there. And now Norman Smith was our friend, and they told us about how they was there, seeing him. He said, when him and Nancy got on that dance floor, said he just took it over. He said, Yahoo! And they took off dancing and said everybody got back the other way so they could have the floor. That's kind of music dance.
Johnny, I can probably here.
No, that's all right.
He's a good guy.
Is he still alive? Is he still alive?
Yeah, he's having trouble now.
Is he? He's not sure.
He's not serious, but he's off it with that. Don't you check it. Charlie, you got anything like that to do?
Me?
Line up,
I need a boring man.
Tell some stories about him then.
you're bound to have a bunch of stories to tell. But if you don't tell
Dayton.
this is boy.
Dayton.
Is that what you said, Nate? Dayton?
Yeah. Dayton.
Go ahead.
He's better than
Anyhow, they got into that.
What do you ask?
He sent his two friends in, and a couple girls. Well, it was his cousin and the next door neighbor came in and asked me if I'd go.
Go with him to the carnival?
Yeah. I said, why didn't you come and ask me? He said, oh, he's got $5. Boy, they thought that was wonderful. That's going because he had $5.
$5 is a chunk of money them days. About half town was $5.
Mama, tell us where were you born and where did you grow up and when did you move to Arizona?
Well, I was born in Arkansas.
Where at?
Let's see. Mina.
Mina?
Mina? Are you sure?
That's what the boy said.
Mina, Bastion County, Arkansas. And we was down in Arkansas. My dad worked in St. Louis. Whenever Mom would get pregnant, like, the smoke would just make her so sick. Dad said he was afraid she'd have consumption. She'd get some skin. So he sent her down to Arkansas to have babies. And so that's why I'm born in Arkansas.
Well, I'm sorry, where was your dad at?
He was in St. Louis.
Oh, St. Louis.
Carpenter there. And couldn't stand the smoke there. They had a lot of smoke at that time. Burning up coal. And anyway, that's why he was in Arkansas.
So once you were born, you moved back to St. Louis?
We was back in St. Louis. Oh, my dad moved all over. When I was 4, we was in, when I was 2, when I stayed in Arkansas till I was 2, then we went to Montana, and then to see my grandma. We stayed there during the summer, and then Dad sent a note to us, told us to come to Arizona. So Mama got on a bus, or whatever it was, I guess it was a train at that time, a couple of trains along. So he sent a note to her, or a telegram to her, and told her to come to anyhow, it's a mining town in Arizona.
Superior? Globe? Miami?
And so we started out to come, and Dad decided he was going to go to California instead, so he sent a telegram to Matt Snelling, told her to tell us to come to California. Well, Mama was already on the phone coming here, and she got there up to Lima, didn't have any money, and couldn't find Dad, of course, and so she went to the no, it was Salvation Army. It was the where you have, when they pay dues in and they have a union. Dad had always been a good union man, so she went there and told him her troubles, and they gave her enough money for a room to deed on. Then finally we got notice from Aunt Nellie that he was on his way back because he couldn't find it. So he came back. We worked in Miami for about a year. Then we went down
Was
to
your mom
Mesa.
was your mom mad at him?
I don't remember. She didn't ever say she was mad. You know, she's bound to be a little upset. But anyhow, then we went down to Mesa and stayed there until I was about 4. Went back to Missouri, and Dad bought us 30 acres. No, 160 acres, about 30 miles from St. Louis. We lived on a little farm for 2 or 3 years. Well, I guess we lived. Well, in the meantime, Mama had Jeannie, and she'd gone sent her down to Arkansas again. And then we came back to after we left after Jeannie's farm, we came back to Missouri at the farm. Then when I was 10, we came out to Arizona. And then when I was 12, we went up to Las Vegas, worked on the dam. So he just traveled all over.
So how old were you when you settled into Arizona and met?
I was 13.
13.
We lived uptown in Mesa, and then Mrs. Smith owned that house we was living in, so she wanted us to move out on her ground out there. Moved out there, Dad built a house out there. We moved in, no, we lived on, we was living in one of her houses out there.
One over Fort Washington. Old big building there, restaurant. What's the name of it?
Maine? Alma School? Extension?
No, Extension.
So that's where I was when Daddy saw me first. Got together when I was about 16.
We had to do it about the other purpose. I said, man, you sure beauty. Finally, I got the chance. It was a whirlwind of love affair, man. You know, I tell you the truth. I tell you the truth. I met her. We walked everywhere we went. I didn't have no money, no car, no bicycle. We walked. We wanted to go to the high school doing. We walked up to the high school together. Went to it. We did most of our courtrooms in the front yard. Her mama's place. Her mama said, you know, Dad, we were walking one night right after his marriage. You know, I know you get to that's watching. So you see how cheap meat was. But, so that $40 we got to roll a note and put it on the floor in that old house out back there.
Some blue
wallpaper, heavy wallpaper, put it on there.
Covered up the cracks.
Where was the house?
We got started living that way. I'd worked for, got an old kerosene cooking stove, a 3-burner kerosene stove. And an old pot-bellied stove to burn in the winter time to keep us warm.
It's up by Grandma, the house is up by Great Grandma Rose's house.
Where I believe
Where the pond used to be. She said to run up. And
When did you start building that house that we grew up in?
it was when, we moved into that house just 3 weeks after Mike was born.
Well, I got to work for MBS and I got making some money. Pretty good money there.
I have to tell you something real fast. You know Bob Shaw? Bob Shaw at APS? Was it Shaw? Bob somebody? I saw him on our way down and he knew you. He worked with you at APS. I think that was his name. I can't remember.
On the way down here?
On the way down to Missouri.
Put her in the middle. He wants in the middle.
Oh, no.
No! No, what?
He wants his grandpa.
Ready? 1, 2.
Wait, Alicia.
1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Dad, give him a big smooch.
You better get some of the gal, I know them. You don't have to get up and get right here. What do you hear from Sammy? What do you hear from Sam, though? Oh, Danny, yeah, Danny.
Tell them we all said hello. Is Forrest going to go with us?
All the toys that you guys.
You guys are getting too wild over there.
Well, when Candy gets wild, she goes wild.
Where'd Derek go to?
But look at
Watch those little claws.
Well, Mama tells me and I scratch her.
You have to wear socks at night, huh?
Okay. What you got on your mind, Linda? It ain't it?
Oh, not at all. I asked you if you wanted me to.
Let me
It's
sit
just so
over
way
there
down
by,
there.
by Glenn and
No. We need you to talk about the old ruin, Daddy.
well, you ask questions and I'll answer them.
Who found it?
Didn't
you say someone was-
The Yokohama
right
Indian.
on our place.
Yeah, but didn't you say I remember someone saying that someone was digging a basement and they found it.
The old ruins?
No, that's
No?
That,
that's
the old ruin was that great big pile of dirt top there. And you couldn't dig a hole to find that ruin. You just was thinking of something else.
See who's here.
What you probably
We found.
heard.
You might have been thinking of the things that we found in it when we was digging the dead people.
What
Found
you-
dead people in there?
Oh yes.
You found bones?
Oh bones, yeah.
How many?
Oh lots of.
Big skulls? Did you
our
ever
house
find
was
any heads?
the biggest graveyard.
Yeah,
though.
it is.
That over at the ruins was their living space. Then over where our house was, Grandpa was digging a hole
Top
for
ladders, they don't pick it up on there.
a grapefruit tree or orange tree. I can't remember which it was, but he dug up 2 skulls,
Really?
and so he buried them back down in.
There's always to bury an Indian. There's always a pot. A pretty pot too, a ceremonial pot right at their head. And whenever you hit one of them, then you know you're close to an Indian. And I didn't know that when I was digging, and I dug down and hit that pot, and that force of the shovel, you know, it would break. But I dug a little more, and that was dug the head up. So I just put the tree in and covered it back up.
So do you have that pot?
No, I didn't have sense enough to keep it. I didn't know that you could put them back together, but they can. They can just glue them back together like they've never been tore up.
Back then you didn't know.
Carl, and up Martha's Carl, you know, her husband, their uncle, her cousin, he was a grave robber. And he found lots of pots, and if they dig one up, break it, or found one broken, they'd dig it all to pieces and put it together. and you couldn't tell that there was even broken. He made a fortune on that stuff.
Yeah, I know. I was watching that show that the antique parade thing or whatever it is, and they had an Indian rug, and an Indian rug, it was like $100,000 or something like that for this Indian rug.
The ruin was on our land, but then Mrs. Barker came along and she, I guess, she wanted to buy it, so they sold it to her, to someone anyway. And she dug a well there right beside that's the foot of the ruin, right there. Had her water well. She lived there for years. She was an old widow woman. But I remember going into her house and visiting with her when I was a little kid, and seeing all kinds of things that she'd collected and put in her house.
From there? Wow.
From their old ruins. Whatever they ever happened to that, I don't never know, but
Well, when I was a little girl, we could go back on that old ruin and play, and we'd go and dig and find all these treasures. I wish
Like what?
Everything, and I just wish that I had one now.
What is everything?
Oh,
just an arrowhead or what?
just probably pottery.
Really?
The pottery probably.
Something like that. And
the old ruins is where the people
foot in
lived.
front.
I don't know how many people that it took in, but all around where we used to live was the burial ground for the people that died when they lived there.
Bring it a little closer, Judy.
It was just
Okay.
when I was gardening. We still lived in that old house, but I was gardening, and we always had a hotbed. We planted our seeds in this hotbed, put fertilizer and barnyard manure, and then it made the soil hot, and it made the seeds come up, and they grow faster than anybody else was in the field. So we always had the hotbed. I'm too crazy. But anyway, I was digging a hotbed, and what's the matter with me? Anyway, I uncovered 3 people in side by side. Right there. But it was just as they were just far enough away that I could leave them alone and have my hotbed. And when the plants would come up about that high, we'd put them out in the field. And they'd be nice big plants, you know. But anyway, then my grandpa and grandma digging their house, the cellar for their home, a little further up on there. Most of you can't see that old house. There's a cellar in it, a basement, and they found several skeletons in there. There's about a 10 by 12 hole, but they found 4 or 5 skeletons in there. But it was all over there, I guess. Those people that live around there now don't know they're living on top of a graveyard. How they ever got away with it, I'll never know. Without, the Indians, when they found out that they're digging through just sacred ground, they usually put a stop to it. But I don't know how they ever dug all their trenches for water lines and sewers and electricity and all that, and didn't get stopped, because I know that they would find.
Well, those Indians were gone a long time ago.
Yeah, but the Indians nowadays raise a fuss.
They're the ones that raise all the fuss now about you digging through their holes, places. And,
can't blame them.
No, can't blame them a bit. We wouldn't want anybody digging through our
I think
ancestors' graves.
I think of my grandpa and grandma, they built a city over them.
in that old house where we used to live, It's just out of just about 500 yards from the ruin. I and my cousin used to go out every Sunday afternoon and dig in it. And it was just like looking for gold. We'd be digging, and you could tell where the Indians, the ground was all burnt, and there'd be ashes in the soil, and we'd dig into that, and it was real loose and soft. And you could tell that's where they had stuff buried. So we found all kind of Indian axes, old tomahawks, you know, and things like lots of broken up stuff, and pots, and big old pots like that, but they were broken. We didn't have stuff to keep it, so we just threw it out. But we found a lot of stuff like that. It was just like, boy, you hit a rock or something. Well, I wonder what that is, you know. Big. Sometimes it'd be what we were looking for. One place there, we found 17 Indian axes. I guess
axes.
That's what is making them. And some of them were not completed. Some of them were. Most of them were. But I found one time. It's about that long and about that thick. I think it was either a ceremonial tomahawk or a chief. It was made out of that stone that Linda got. Some kind of a stone that's real shiny.
The black
You can
shiny.
look into it when you wipe and clean it off. You can look into that thing and you can see yourself in it.
Obsidian.
Obsidian.
It was beautiful, but I didn't have to keep it, you know. This back $1 was $1. And the guy came through one up, had anything to sell. So I said, yeah, I'd sell this here. And he gave me $5 for it. 2.5 is the usual price for those rough ones that they use. But this, he gave me $5 for that one. I shouldn't have did it, but I needed the money, you know. Didn't have nothing. But that's a lot of stuff that's around the old ruin. I don't think they've found a whole lot in the old ruin. They found a few beads and a few knickknacks, but nothing, no big old, like the matates and things. We found one time, I was just walking out, I was irrigating. I went along there, walking along where we'd been digging a little ways from it, and put my shovel down and hit something hard. I dug it up to see what it was. It was a big old matate, like grind the wheat going in. It was upside down. That's the way they always did them. They put them upside down so you just think it was a rock when it's feeling. And
Linda has one out there, right in the corner of the cement.
yeah, that's just another good.
So was the grinding stone with it then underneath it? Oh, how neat.
Yeah.
Grandpa kept those for 20, 30 years, 40 years, I think. He had about one for every kid, and some of them wanted it, some of them didn't.
One time, where that ruin was, it was a little higher than the rest of the ground, and my dad was renting the land out to a man to raise cotton, and he said, Charlie, I'll level this off for you if you let me raise it. You know, charge me if you just, I'll level it off if you just let me plant cotton there. So he said, all right, but if you find anything I want to keep, I want you to give it to me. But he didn't. He found this, I don't know what, it was one of those corn grinders, but it was flat, just had a little ridge around all the way, and it was about that long, about that thick. They had 3 legs, 2 legs in the back, 1 leg in the front. Beautiful thing, beautiful. I don't know who had it or what it was, but it was a beautiful rock. I'm sure it'd be worth a bunch of money now. But getting back to the old ruin, us kids used to play on that thing. If we was lucky enough to have a bicycle, they'd all take them over there. They'd go up through a field, across the ditch, and get over into the whole ruin and go up the top. And At that time, it seemed like it was a lot higher than it is now, because we was younger and wasn't as big. We'd get up there and we'd ride them bicycles down that slope off from there. And there was a hill something like that, and we'd hit that and go up over and they'd jump way out. They had to go up a lot of bicycles.
Did you do that, Johnny? Johnny did that.
Did you?
Yeah, the same hill was still there.
I used to ride. I never was lucky enough to have a bike when I was a kid, but I had a little red wagon. I sure rode that old thing. I would pull it up there and ride down it. Back in '33, I believe it was, we had Mesa's first snowstorm. And I and my friend were just a piece of tin over there, and we made a sled, you know, we could slide down the steepest part of that old run on that snow, so slid on the snow, boy. We was up tall cotton. It had 4 inches of snow on it. It was pretty good, and it's so cold that it didn't melt very quick.
It lasted for about a week.
I know the chickens would stay up in the trees all the time. They wouldn't fly down on the ground to get in that snow. They didn't know what it was till it melted. But we had a lot of fun on that old road. I know what my daddy, he told a story about when he was young. Had his grandpa from Iowa came out to visit.
I think that's what that picture is, when they all came out.
And my grandfather and my daddy and my grandfather's father was out there, and they were all out digging. They had on the west end of the side of the ruin, they was digging a hole back in it to see what they could find. You know, there's all through the ruin you'll find walls. A wall is about that thick, but just as hard as a rock. However they made it, the rest of it soft. But you can find that wall easy because it's so hard. But they was digging back in there, and they dug about 10 or 15 feet, a hole big enough for them to work in. And they threw the dirt out and up on, and they had quite a hole getting back up to it. They called, my grandmother had an old dinner bell that my dad had got from, grandfather had got from the school. And she would go out and ring the bell when it was time to eat, and that old dong, ding, dong, you know, like them old bells. So they said, well, we better go, time to eat. And they just left their tools in that hole. When they come back, it all caved in.
Oh.
Whew.
Oh, my goodness.
I just like to be around when they find it now. when they go to dig it.
They probably already found it.
Oh, them old Indians had some late stuff, you know. But I know there's 2 or 3 shovels and picks in there. And that my folks were just lucky they wasn't in it when it caved in.
Say, that was a blessing.
Oh, I remember us old kids on the right on the west end. Remember that big old orange orchard that was there? Big old navel, great big old navels. Of course, we'd always hungry. Kids was always hungry. We'd go out there to go by the ruins, and that's them oranges look good away, you know. We'd go get us a few oranges and eat them up on top of the ruin. That was so good. Right below the ruin, right beside of the ruin, there's a big ditch, irrigation ditch that went through, and of course, where it goes into everybody's place, there's a head gate. A gate, they can put a gate in it and stop the water so it'll come out to your place. And we had to go down to where it came into my daddy's place, across the ditch right there, and then we was right by the orange orchard, so then we had to go up on the hill. But we had a good time. Boys, all of the neighbors' kids, and all of them grew up around there, playing on that old ruin. I'd like to, it's Saturday now, Sunday they're going to take tours there, let people go through, and I'd like to be here, go on that tour.
I thought it was Saturday.
It's Saturday and Sunday, 2 days. But I won't be here, but I'd like to be able to tell them.
Johnny can take his camcorder and go on a tour.
You're going to have somebody, the head of the Archaeology Society, he's going to take tours, and I'd like to tell that old bird something. I'd like to tell him to go over and dig and see what kind of tools Indians use. What do you ask any question now? Mama'd like to tell you something, probably.
Tell about the pond, Daddy.
The ponds.
The pond that you put on our, that was on our property that the Indians used.
Oh.
The drainage.
Well, I don't know. They took the dirt from our Maida pond, but they took it up there. There was a little hill up there where my daddy and my grandfather built his new home, and but that's where they dug the cellar and found the Indians down in there. But I don't know what they just. And my grandfather, he had milk cows, a bunch of them, and that's where he kept the water for the cattle to drink. He just filled that old pond up. But they dug the most of it to make that hill up there. I don't know what they wanted that there for. But I know it was all of that area around there was Indian stuff. And there was an old, right below the biggest pond, right down and below it there was another, with a whole big, it wasn't as deep a pond, but it covered more territory, where they took dirt out of there and took it up on that hill. And we'd dug around there planting stuff and find Indian stuff there. So the whole ground around there was Indian property. I mean, they lived there and did all their. I never did find it that I can remember an arrowhead around there. Of course, I don't remember really looking for them, but I would have liked to. I don't know whether there was.
What is it? A date?
Great. Are they huge? I know they're huge. Camille, hand me that pillow up there.
They burned a lot of bamboos.
No, the smallest one.
There was lots of bamboos around there along the river, and that seems like that's what they burnt and made their old homes out of.
Bamboo?
Last week.
When I'd be digging, I'd find pieces of bamboo, burnt bamboo.
Where'd the bamboo come from?
Well,
Canal or?
Over down.
the Indians had dug a canal from way up by Granite Reef.
Oh.
And it came down the north side of the river, down there, and then it cut across, down, you know where Palmer's old home was? It comes right through their place and down the extension where Clement's garage is. That's as far as I can trace it right there. They used to end right, as far as I knew, it ended there, but I guess it didn't. But they had water, they irrigated, just like we did. And the pioneers, when they first came, they dam off the river and take the water up above and bring it on down. So and that's where they got their bamboos from. They had them along the river, along the canal. What do you got? You got any questions, anybody?
Yeah, Elaine wants to hear the bird story.
Get out of
Well, let's finish anybody have questions about the old ruins or canals or?
Well, did that pond have water in it?
The what?
Pond?
Oh yeah, we had water for all the time. I used to fish in it, catch big old fish. My grandfather had a good friend that was named Bush. And they had the Bush lumber yard and made it was one of the first lumber yards, but it was a big lumber yard. And finally then he went broke. But anyway, while it was still going good, he said, Ed, if I put some catfish in there, will you let me come out and fish in it? Grandpa said, sure. So he went and sent somewhere and got two 5-gallon cans full of catfish, little catfish. And they put them in there. And it wasn't long till they was catching catfish. But when we'd irrigate, get the water, we got catfish, bass, crappie, perch, them old humpback suckers, all kind of fish, big catfish.
Out of a pond? Out of that pond?
All of it came down there through the irrigation into it. And sometimes we'd fill the pond up in the spring, and you know those old carp are real prolific. I mean, tell you, they hatched out a lot of little ones. We'd get the water and it'd be filled up, the pond full of water. First thing you know, when the water went down, we'd go up through there and the ditch would be full of little old fish about like this. They left the pond, went up all in the ditch and come down. He got up, went, there fish all along them. Below the head gates there's always a pool of water, you know, so deep. They all had fish in them, but once in a while I'd take a bucket and go, I don't know why I did it, but I'd go and catch all I could and put them back in the pond, and I know it didn't need it, because
Your little old grandma, the one with the big feet?
Rebecca, Anna.
Yeah, short. She used
Anna
to
Rebecca.
Love, she used to love to go fishing.
They used to wear these old bonnets, you know, the old time bonnets that the women had. And do you remember Hal Hunsaker? Did he teach you in school?
He taught me.
Hal Hunsaker. His mama, she loved fish too. And her grandma and that
Sister
Hunsaker and Homer Fallow's wife that lived he lived where the old orange orchard was by the pond, by the ruins. Anyway, they'd all go up there in their bonnets, you know, and sit there on a big old long cane pole about 10 feet long. They'd be fishing away for them old carp. They loved them. They eat them too, boy. The grandma, she'd catch them fish and she'd clean them herself. Nobody had to clean them for her. Same with chickens. She'd always kill her chickens and clean them out, get them ready for eating. Something else. They sure did love. I fished in that old pond. One night I was down there fishing, and Grandpa had planted some pepper trees. Remember what a pepper tree is?
Yeah.
There's two, and they're about 15 feet apart, but they got up. They come together over my head. But I like to fish, sit down in there by the pond and fish right there. Cause it seemed like it's a good place to fish. And I was fishing away one time, and some dang old cats making love up over my head.
Oh no!
Going down, they hit right beside of me and it scared the daylight out of me. I don't know whether the Tom or the mama, but one of them fell right down by me, boy, and just froze me. One time, my grandpa, his brother had two sons, Bill and
Your grandpa?
Johnny?
Bill and Paul. Paul and Phil. And they were down there by the pond, and they said, Uncle Ed, I think we'll just pick you up and throw you out in that pond. He said, well, I don't think you will. They started to get him, and he grabbed the first one and threw him out in the pond. That other one, he stopped right there. But he was, my grandfather, he took a pretty good man to throw him in the lake.
Not the horse from your grandpa.
Oh, no, it's just talking about. Oh, no.
I want to hear about it.
Well, he had a standing bet of $25. There wasn't a horse in the valley without pulling. And he'd get set get in the ditch, his feet on one side, and he'd tie a rope on the saddle, and that old horse couldn't pull him out of that ditch. I had several people tell me that, watching their grandpa make you $25. I never seen it, but I've heard people tell me about it.
Now this was your grandpa, Daddy?
Yeah, my daddy's father, Ed.
Elmer Ellsworth was his name, but they called him Ed. I don't know.
Elmer, yeah, Elmer.
Same reason why Martin doesn't want anybody to know his middle name is Elmer.
Right.
Probably. I don't know.
Oh, he was a good old guy.
Well,
He was real good about helping the community. When the school needed a piano, he got people together, got the money to buy them a piano.
yeah.
He did things like that all the time.
When they got modern, got running water in the school, old Alma school down there, they got inside toilets. Well, they had one for the boys, one for the girls, little wooden toilets, outside toilets. They gave them to my grandpa, and he brought them home. They was up on the place. We all used them. And then,
Sammy went out there one day and he had some matches. He was about 3 years old or so. And he dropped some matches down in there. Of course, you use paper, and it's laying down in there.
burned
the whole thing out.
So
Luckily God.
Phil and Jerry weren't the only firebugs.
Pyromaniacs.
I hadn't heard about Sammy doing that.
Well, you weren't very old. He was only 2 or 3. He may have been 3 or 4, and you'd been 2 years older. I think that's while Daddy's in the service. Did that happen while you was in the service?
I guess so. I don't know. I can't remember. I don't remember me being there.
Uncle Al from
Who was it burned our toilet up at the house on 8th Street?
I don't know.
We didn't need it that really. Like we just got one and got it inside the house, but somebody was glad because it sure didn't smell very good. They was glad it got burned up.
Tired of
Well,
Any other questions?
Why did you not keep the pond full?
well, the one
water.
reason the water got so scarce, we had to have it on the land, the crops. It took a lot of water to keep it. It's covered about an acre of land, and you put that much water in it, it takes a lot of water. It takes about 3 hours of the big stream of water running to fill it up. 3 hours of water will irrigate an acre of cotton.
Well, do you remember one spring when we had a lot of runoff and SRP called you and asked you to load up your tank so you had an overabundance of water?
We could always get free water in the spring up till it started to get warm, or extra water if you needed it. But as soon as it got in a dry year like the last few years we've had, have been enough water, and everything's the lakes are drying up and everything, but that's why we couldn't keep it full. Had to quit putting water in it because it took it all to the land.
Yeah.
I remember when we could get 3 acre feet of water. That's big. 3 acre feet would cover an acre is 3 foot deep.
Oh.
But it got to where when it gets shortage, well then they just cut it down to 2 acre feet. And I remember a lot of times that was just enough to raise 1 crop instead of 2. That you could raise.
Mama, what do you have to say?
Dad did just fine.
You have any memories on that old hill?
Yeah.
I had some, when you were born, that was quite a deal. We lived in that old house and it was just 1 board thickness between us and outside. It leaked like sieve. And, I was sick with the Laney, and it was hot. No air conditioning. I lived on ice. It's a wonder you're not cold for me all the time. And that was quite a time.
And that was and tell what Grandpa Lewis did for you.
Grandpa Lewis?
Yeah, remember?
Emma?
No, when you...
Oh, yeah, he'd bring us up gallons of full milk. We had our ice box.
Iceman come out every other day. Come up. Well, it's a 1/4 mile off the main road, and they'd come back up in on at our place. My grandmother take 50 pound, and we'd take 50 pound every other day.
Wow.
25 cents, 50 pound of ice. Mom, I used most of it, shipping it off, keep eating it, keep it cool.
It was hot in that place. Then when it rained, we'd have little buckets sitting around everywhere. The drips came down.
Whenever that old Iceman had come around and pull up to the house, all the little kids would come out and he'd just trying to get him to give him a little piece of ice. Just like they was eating candy or ice cream, boy, they'd after that ice. It'd usually be a little chunks around, they'd give it to him.
Johnny? Share us your thoughts on that old ruin.
I don't know when.
They made him quit riding on it.
They made him quit?
Yeah, they went after we'd go down there and ride our bikes and chase us off of it.
It's good job,
I don't know who it was. Somebody would come out there and chase us off. Hey, get out of here.
That wasn't on your property.
No, we didn't own it anymore. The Lewises didn't own it anymore.
Lindy, tell us your thoughts on the old ruin.
Well,
She drove a tractor almost to it one time.
yeah, that's right. Martha and I would always go up there. You know, we didn't have bikes, or we didn't take them up and ride them on them, but we looked for the Indian teardrops. I don't know why there were so many up there, but we could find a couple of them every time we went up to the pond or the hill looking for Indian stuff. And that's all we ever found was the...
You found Indian teardrops?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know why they were deposited there, or if the Indians collected them, or what, but they were there.
Neat.
And I remember that spring when they filled up the pond, us kids got a whole bunch of old wood and made rafts.
Oh,
And we scooted off to the middle of that. It didn't hold much. Thank goodness it wasn't too deep.
Back when we used to use horses and wagons instead of tractors, no hay rack that we used to holler hay with and everything out of the fields, the grain. The spokes in the wagon wheels, when they'd get dry and they'd loosen up, you know, and shake around, and so we'd drive with a team of horses on them. We'd go out through the pond and out one side and out the other, and that would, the water on the wheels would make them swell up, and then tighten them up on the wagon, so it'd be good for another 2 or 3 weeks.
The floor of the pond was that hard that you could drive a team through?
Oh gosh, no, the mud is that deep in it.
Ooh.
We used to go swimming in it, and we'd be wading in the mud like that, the water up to here.
So it was.
Once in a while, a big old fish would clamp into you. For a while, there was muskrats in that pond.
Oh, really?
And they dig holes back in the bank, you know, so big around, and I'd go around, and I found out that the catfish would go in them holes. So you put your hand in there real slow, and you can feel the little tail there, and you just follow it up, and you get it right. There's stickers, thorns come out right, you know, stick a bull head. Just get it right behind that, and squeeze real tight, and then pull him out. Boy, if you wouldn't hold him tight, they'd flip that head around. Them thorns on him are just poisonous.
Oh, dear.
They'd hurt.
Oh.
But I caught a lot of big old catfish like that. You was never getting them.
Oh, there was an accident.
Yeah. Oh, I just heard something.
There was a truck. I saw a truck, and he was in the middle, and he was going the wrong. He was going that way. I wonder if he pulled out in front of somebody.
Well, there's a horn going. Okay, now you can start talking.
Ask the questions.
Did he ask the questions?
How did you get started in the bees?
Well, after I got out of the Army, there wasn't no work hardly yet. But still, work jobs is hard to get.
What year was that, Papa?
1945, 46, first of 46. And so they've given all the GIs 2 years of training in anything they wanted to take. They paid for it, the Army, the government would. So Brother Hastings had a lot of bees, and he was wanting some help. So I took GI training with Brother Hastings. The government paid him $100, and they paid me $100 a month.
Wow.
So he got me my work for $100 a month. Oh, he was making out like a champ.
Yeah.
And
$100 a month was worth a lot more.
$100 a month is worth $500 or so. But anyway, he was I was working 8 to 10 hours, 12 hours a day. Whenever we'd move bees around, there's no telling how many hours I'd put in.
Your phone.
Yeah, it's in there.
What's the matter?
I don't know where it's at.
Buckeye, Gila Bend, way the other side of Gila Bend, over as far as the other side of Tucson, way out there on the, what's the name of that place from out there? Outside of Benson, along the San Pedro River. Because there was lots of mesquite trees out there. We took them up there to get honey from them. And mesquite honey is really a choice honey, like citrus. But I got to working with him, and they taught me from the ground up. And I started working him in the wintertime, and he goes through all of his bees in the wintertime, checks them, make sure they got a queen, and there's no foul brood, there's no sickness in the bees. And you take the top off, and you smoke her to smoke them a little bit, and it tames them down. But boy, they're on a cold, windy day, they just eat you up. But he wouldn't let me wear no gloves. He says, the one thing you can't do is wear gloves working in the bees, because if I have a sick hive and you work in it, you take it right on to another one on your gloves. So he says, we can't wear gloves.
Wouldn't that do the
I
same?
broke right in without wearing gloves.
Even on your hands if you went from one to the other.
Yeah, they will do that too.
You didn't wash your hands in between each hive then, huh?
No, but you take the frames all out and look at it and make sure there's, you find the queen and make sure they had honey in the box that they'd make it to the flower bloom. And we'd go through the whole apiary that way. Maybe 200 in one place, 200 hives. It'd take the whole day maybe in one place. You'd go through them and make sure they was all right. And when we'd haul them, the citrus comes on first. The pretty smelling citrus, some of the best honey you ever get. And they have a lot of honey in them citrus blossoms, especially if it's nice warm days and it's threatening to rain and sultry. That's when the honey just pours out. You can shake them leaves and you can see the honey drop down on the wooden box or wherever. It's sure good. And the bees, even though there's water in, a lot of liquid in with the honey, the bees, you can go by the boxes at night and hear them zzz, you can hear them. Well, they're buzzing all night long, and that dries the water out of the honey. So that it turns into pure honey then after they dry that water out. And then it's good honey. But he let me, one time when I went over to Benson, I had finally got me a few hives of bees, and he helped me get started, give me some old frames and old boxes and stuff. I'd go around and catch a swarm and put in it and get them to...
Where'd you get a swarm?
They'll swarm every spring. Almost every hive of bees will swarm every spring. You can go around through a bee apiary around close by and you see them hanging on a fence post or on the fence or in a nearby tree, hanging down off from a limb. If you look for them, you can see a lot of them in the spring.
One of the neighbors that lived by Dad over on First Place, around the corner behind, across the street from Aunt Joanne, they had, what was it, an orange tree or something they had out there, didn't they? They had a big old hive.
Yeah. They had a big grapefruit tree in the back, and the bees just swarmed there and then just stayed there, had a honeycomb sticking out like that, about that big around. And the bees, they just leave enough room between the slabs of honey so they could go up and down and work in it. And they told me, people on the place wanted to know if I'd come and get it. They wanted it out of the tree. So I took me a box one over there, and I just cut a slab off at a time. The good honey, I put it in a big pan. She wanted the honey. It was good. But I finally got those bees and got them worked into the box and got the swarm of bees on some good frames and did away with the old whites, the old nest we had in the tree. I had 7 hives of bees, and I took them over to there with his bees to Benson to get some mesquite honey. And I got, from each hive, I got a 5-gallon can of good honey.
Wow.
7 cans of good mesquite honey, boys. And at that time, that year, it was worth more than there had been before, at $20 a can.
Wow.
We used to get it for 2.5 or 5 gallons, 2.5 a can. My daddy, when I was a boy, they went way up on the Verde River, where there's lots of mesquite honey up there. And we get it for 2.5 a can. But they got $20 for that. He thought that was really money. Now do you know what a 5-gallon can brings?
I mean, $100.
A little over $100.
Who do you sell it to, Tig?
Well,
People like us.
Your Crockett company will sell it. Will buy all you want. All you
What,
got.
Will? Crockett.
They're over in Tempe.
Big beef factory.
Yeah, we just bought a gallon from them just, what, a month ago or so, and it was 26 something
A gallon?
per gallon.
$26 a gallon.
Did it come out?
Oh, if I was here, I'd get a gallon when the citrus comes in, but I won't be here. But anyway, I've had a lot of bees. When we went on a mission, I bought me a trailer, made me a nice trailer, and I had it fixed so I could put my bees on that trailer. If I wanted to take them up to the mesquites, or I could take them there. Or the citrus orchard, I could take them there. Just leave them out on that trailer. They could fly in and out, you know. When I came back, the guy I worked in the temple with, he said, "Fellas, we've got 7 acres out here." I talked to him about it, and he said, I told him I need a place to put him. He said, "Well, I've got 7 acres out here, the South Mountains, out south of Chandler. You can put them in where you like." So I took him out there, and I hadn't been out there for 2 or 3 months, and I got a letter from him that said he had selling the place. So when I come back, my bees was gone, my trailer was gone. Somebody dumped my bees all off out there, all over, scattered them all over. The hives upside down and everything.
They just took the
took
trailer.
my trailer and left it. It was out in the middle of a big citrus orchard, but I didn't have nothing then. So that's how I ended up with someone in the first place, in Mesa, out there in the back of my house. I went out and salvaged a couple of 3 of the hives that had jumped out, and I took them back up and got some of the frames. Just kept the bees. I had to replace a lot of the stuff that's in them, and I had the bees, and they stayed with it. And I had 4 or 5 hives there, and that I think that right at the end, I got some foul brood in them, and they died off 1 box at a time. The died off. So
How do you make them?
Burn them up. When they all died out, I just burnt the boxes and stuff and got rid of it. I still had.
How do you keep the foul brood out?
Well, you can. There's a way to do it. I think you can put stuff in their food. Like in the wintertime, you feed them sugar water. They like that. That's what they can keep them alive on it. You put stuff in that sugar water. There's some stuff, I forget what it was now, we put in it. It would kill that stuff.
Did they make their own wax?
Pardon?
Did the bees make their own wax?
Yeah.
How did they make their own wax?
It forms on their stomach. As they eat the blossoms, the honey out of the nectar out of the blossoms, and then they get the pollen out of the blossoms. Have you ever watched bees close? You find on their hind legs they'll be covered with pollen, and they feed the baby bees that. But what'd you ask me?
The wax.
Oh, the wax forms underneath their stomach, and as they eat and all this stuff, and they take it off the stomach and make the wax.
Huh.
But you understand there's 250,000 to 300,000 bees in a hive, so there's a lot of wax there off of all those bees.
She's out there talking with Ray.
Ray's got her cornered.
So like that. end of my beef story. I gave all the kids honey for years.
Did you show Uncle Lee how to do bees, or did he already know how?
Then I showed him how.
Did you?
Yeah. Uncle Rulon worked with me for a year.
He didn't like it, huh?
No, he didn't like it. He got me in trouble, little rascal.
Why?
Well, I don't know. I don't better not tell it.
No, tell it, tell it.
Might as well. You started.
Not supposed to tell your bad stories in life, just your good ones.
Well, how did you get in trouble?
I didn't.
I thought you said he got you in trouble.
Well, it's about. I paid it back. You had a big old, but back in the old days when, you know, wasn't no one, back during the right after the war, there wasn't much work. And poor Brother Hastings had his bees. They had a fire in his bee house, and they burned a lot of his stuff up. But there was a big copper kettle out there, about this big around.
Oh my God.
And it was evidently worth a little money.
I bet.
Rulon said there was a guy come around wanting to buy copper. There was a Sam was sell that to him. Brother Hastings was having a wet went to. We sold a few of that old guy for $7. And Brother Hastings said, Sam, where did that old copper kettle go to? I don't know, there's a guy around here that wanted to buy one day. Maybe he come back and got it. So after he died, I took the $7 back and gave it to Sister Hastings. Sister Hastings, I owe you this money. I forgot. I don't remember why, but I owe you that. I felt guilty about that all the time after that. I would have never done it if I wouldn't have thought about it.
What did he use the big copper kettle for, Brother Hastings?
Well, I think to heat water.
Didn't use it for his bees?
No, it came with that spot that he bought to keep his bees in more than anything else. It was there. He never did doubt me.
Which I was at.
But boy, I worked hard for that old guy for 2 years. Finally, I told him, hey, he wanted me to work Saturdays and everything. I said, hey, I got to have some Saturdays off. I'm putting in enough hours out working Saturdays too. He let me have every other Saturday off. Great! Hi.
Linda, how about doing your frog story?
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't remember it.
You don't?
No.
Oh.
That was a good
It's
one.
Ruthie.
Oh, is she here?
Yeah.
Is it coming?
Ruthie? Yeah.
Just in time for the frog and the bird story.
Yeah.
Dad, you gonna do the bird story? I'm not gonna do the frog story.
I don't blame you, I wouldn't do that.
Is that Candy's first?
Uh-huh.
Is that one that Kim made?
No.
No? I should put it in.
So I love Lucy Purse.
Oh. Cute.
Now, which one is this?
Charlie?
Charlie?
I think so. Isn't that you said
That's
was
his
bringing?
truck, yeah.
That's what Ruthie said he was
Well,
bringing.
Charlie didn't forget how to get here, did he?
I got here just good.
say hi to Ruthie
I
and we'll
know.
go.
What did he do to his
He had a blister from his tennis shoe, and then Jenny ran over it with the shopping cart yesterday, and it just it hurts him bad.
Well, look who's here.
Hi. Yeah.
Looking forward to that 20-hour drive, Ruthie.
You bet.
How long did it take you guys to get there? Well,
It took us about 26 hours, 27. Because I slept for 3 hours, and I didn't go real fast because little Roxy's car is 20 years old, and I was scared to death I wasn't even going to get here.
Well, you're lucky, wasn't you?
I was, really blessed. Well, it was
Like
really
29
cold,
years old?
and
The
because
hose busted?
no, it was
very cold.
It was cold all the way down. And
that's
so
what it
that
was.
cold air kept it cold. And
Oh, yeah.
if it had been warm, we probably wouldn't have got here.
What made it heat up? Could you
some
tell?
radiators plugged in.
Huh?
Could you tell what made it heat up?
I think it's the radiator.
I don't know.
It says the radiators.
The old dirty
There's
radiator.
something wrong with the radiator. I don't know what
I
it
think
is.
it's all plugged up.
Maybe the thermostat.
Ray, that
Yeah.
picture looks like it's ready to fall.
It did.
Well,
I
it
knocked
did.
it
I just
out.
said it that way.
He didn't want me to knock it off again.
How far did you want it all the way
Maybe
far?
3 miles.
3 miles?
Yeah.
Oh, that she'll make it. She fit that far.
Mine started.
It really is. Boy, it started getting hot just about as soon as she starts it up, right, because it's so hot down here. So I don't know what the problem is. The Lord just watched over it.
Well, her brothers are mechanics, aren't
I'm
they?
glad it was cool all the way down.
Yeah, her brothers are mechanics. Even if we froze because there's no heater and my feet were freezing and I had something over my legs and coats and I had a hat on with mitts.
Hey, Mom, I was warm on the trip up here.
Oh, good for you. I was freezing. I guess it got us here. That was good, I guess. Okay.
Now let's hope it takes care of Roxy. Candy's wanting to go home, huh?
I don't blame you.
Yeah, you rolled down
The
the window.
windows.
Ruthie was a
No,
little
the
warm
main
when you
reason
came.
I was trying to cut it short is because it cost me $1 a minute on that phone.
Why'd you even bring it?
And so I don't like to, I keep it as short as possible. To the point, please. And I was just trying to make it to the point.
Ruthie, Daddy needs you to show him what you're going to put in so he can get things packed.
Okay. Here then.
It's awesome down here.
That's right, huh?
Yeah. I mean, what, a couple miles from the building?
Yeah.
And there's like members everywhere.
Yeah. And the girls are all cute too.
Not all.
Well, is Free happy? Is he adjusting to married life?
Yeah. I guess so far, anyway.
How do you like his wife? Tell us about her. What's she like?
I hate her.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No. She's nice. She's shy, but she's nice.
She's shy?
She's pretty shy.
Really? How in the world did they meet up then? Isn't Free shy?
Next door neighbors.
Really?
He moved in with my aunt when they got down here, and my cousin introduced him to her. She was actually the next house over from where they were living.
Oh my gosh.
First girl he went out with, and we married her.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So did he date anyone else or
No,
just her?
just her.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Cute.
Did they did one before he went on his mission?
Oh, sure. He did, but since he's been back, that's his first girl since he's been back.
Wow, that's kind of cool.
Clark, he's with the same girl.
He's what?
He's with the same girl, but I mean, he was dating another girl too, but she's like the first one he was going out with. He's with her.
So is he serious then with this other one?
He doesn't say anything. I'll tell you, they're just friends.
Oh.
Well, I can tell that she really They've actually even talked about being married, but they're just friends. They're like separated. It's weird.
Because she just gave them to me. They're in my purse. Where's my purse?
So were you wanting pictures of?
All of the little
Right
ones that
there.
I've never
Right
seen.
here. Right here.
Yeah, I don't think I have any. And I didn't get the movie from Free either.
Well, tell me, start with all the kids that are at home and tell me what they're up to.
Just tell her that if she'd have come to the wedding like she was invited, should have said them.
Well, when you're bipolar, you see how far you go.
Hey, I'm not worried about it. A lot of people didn't come. That's okay. You know, I don't care.
Yeah, she said you can stay out.
Your loss. I didn't go either, honey.
But you know what? My children at home are, my baby's 5.
Anthony.
And she is Debbie.
She's a cutie.
Deborah Helen. And she's 5 and the strongest willed child I've ever had. She is a real cute little thing, and as big of a character as I can handle. And Ammon has just turned 8, and we haven't got him baptized yet because he turned 8 right before the wedding. And we haven't got him to the bishop. We couldn't get him to the bishop, and finally we got him the other day, and now we just have to wait till I can get home. But he is getting baptized, and he's a sweetheart. Ruthie is 10. Ruth is 10, and she's finally, finally starting to grow up a little bit. She doesn't make me dress her and stuff like that anymore.
She's got her own world, though.
She is in her own little world, and she's a very unusual little child, but she is very sweet. And
Well,
she's finally grown up.
Hello.
She's sort of like me, I think.
That's what I was going to say. You had little fairy friends, and we'd help you build little houses for them down the side of the house.
She does. I don't think she does stuff
Hold
like
on
that.
just a
She's
second.
sort of in her own little world.
So pretty.
I really like that. And she's how
Who's
old?
that for?
Judy.
They get smaller.
Well, we
So
finally were
smaller.
able to get everyone together for Free's wedding, and then we never quite got one taken.
Oh.
We got one taken. Well, we got one taken with everyone.
There was everyone there.
Everyone in my family. We got one taken with that. But I wanted one taken of just my children.
Yeah.
And I didn't get that one. And I was really sad because we were late. We were late for the wedding, and so we didn't have the chance to do it because we were late.
We did have everyone there, didn't we?
Had everyone there.
Everyone was there, Darlene and everyone.
Darlene forgot her dress. That poor girl. She forgot her dress, and I was going to go see Darlene today, and I haven't had a chance to go see her. Just had one wonderful time. It's just too fast and furious.
Yeah, already.
Too fast, too furious.
Too fast, too furious.
Too fast, too furious.
Oh, what a
2 weeks in a day.
What was his last name?
Ronnie.
Rollins?
Ronnie.
Last name?
Mabry.
Neighbors?
Mabry.
Oh, Mabry. That's the Mabry.
The real world today. That's what how many others have you used? Sure, keep your mind on your business, but don't. Read between the lines on the letters.
She's had it a while. A year.
And a half maybe? A year and a half maybe?
74.
while you're down here. Yeah, too much sleep. Oh boy,
I
look
sleep all
at
day
these
in the
toys,
house.
look at these toys, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. You know what, I need to get more.
You hungry, bud?
No.
Nope. Go sit down. I'm
sorry, I just didn't think you could sit
Andy.
Dandy Andy.
Well, I think the kids are all ready. Because I go down to the
Oh, is that what happened to that?
Yeah.
It has a whipped cream on it now. I was looking for my salad.
Get over here now. Get over here now, boys.
I need to take out enough for
Get down to eat all your food. Here. Get over here. Here. Oh, yours is right here. Don't get down again till you're all done.
Where's Candy and your kids?
They're in there playing with the baby girl.
Those are good. No, I can't taste nasty.
I don't know. It's like food watching.
Where did he go? Is he not got something to eat?
Who's this? Mon White? Daddy's over here.
No, we got water right out there, John.
Oh, there it is.
I could have it down for you.
Kurt?
Derek, want to come sit by Dad?
Well, I'm gonna have a sun in my face. There you go. I'm gonna have a sun in my face.
I'll sit right over here. Ray, this is really good. Thank you.
I get salad?
Oh, yeah. Except you snuck me a grapefruit, I think, huh?
You don't like grapefruit?
Did you put grapefruit in there?
But it tasted good with the stuff on it.
I'm surprised. That's my idea.
took my spot. That's okay.
Yeah, that's probably why it was okay.
Honey, come on now.
Well, let it start.
This child,
Wednesday's child. What is that, Frank?
it's a special thing for handicapped children. I didn't need them, Grandpa, except for my mom's
Hey, Derek,
house.
come here. Anything else you want to do? Hey, Derek, let's do anything else.
She likes to, Andy really likes to be
Glenn!
here.
Stop! John, get him!
Come over here and make out with me.
You act up.
Where are you guys going?
She wants to go see my mom.
And she got there?
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about that.
Jen! Bring my purse and the food Grandma was going to give me. Bye. Hey, Glenn,
Yeah.
we got some entertainment going on over here. Now you have to dance with me.
Belly dancers.
I'm thinking maybe we'll have to take all our plates.
Mommy?
Do you remember the time that they had that real bad dust storm with the dust? It was so dusty we couldn't even see the houses across the street. You couldn't see as far as that.
On
They
that
just
street.
almost gone. And I was standing there with you and I said, John, you think this is the way the real Savior comes? And he said, Mom, you be quiet.
No, don't remember that.
I thought it was cute. Cute.
Yeah, you like it.
This one.
Get your green glass in there to your other candy.
Behave.
I'm full of energy.
That's not all you're full of.
I still see some little bits of.
Well, Frank boy was really hungry today.
See right there, right
Do
there.
you know Chris was getting married tomorrow? Did you hear
He
that?
could have saving up, but he didn't eat much breakfast and just a sandwich or two during the day. It was time to eat, wasn't it? Tony was finally eat dinner.
I went to sleep.
Ray, I think you need a couple more strings.
He's doing good. It's pretty good music.
What's the name of that tune?
It's one he makes up.
What's the name of this one?
You gotta name it, sweetheart.
I did. This is the name. It's Jingy My Soul.
What?
Jingy My Soul.
Genie?
No, Jingy.
Oh, Jeannie.
Genie?
Yeah, Jingy My Soul.
Junior Muscle.
He has a lot of weight. Make-up names.
That's what he tells
Guess what our
you.
email address is? Two Shoes. TUESHOES.
TUE. Two shoes. What's
Three
the,
shoes.
what's the meaning of that?
No meaning.
None.
No.
He makes up things for years. He's been saying Kakahona Moana, telling everybody it's a saying from New Zealand. Is it?
Yes.
No, he made it up.
How do you do, my good friend?
He says the meaning.
We've gone down to London. I need a Bakita.
Carl, that's my
Then
sing that song
did you?
on microphone, and I was embarrassed.
I bet you would.
Yeah.
Did they play music for you or did you sing it?
I sang it.
Huh. Did you write some music to it?
I do every night before I go to bed.
What do you do?
Play my keyboard.
Do you really? Well, you ought to take it with you then when you sing your song, play it on the keyboard.
My keyboard's $150. I'm not taking it everywhere I go.
Well, you don't go everywhere.
Except,
Why don't you take a chair and go
well, I won't
sit?
even go that far.
Sing that one that you said you used to sing the song.
You need to start
I
this,
know.
and I need to have you in the
I won't even
thing.
go as far as what I was going to say. I can't stop the feeling wrong day. Get out, slip it to the show. I got
Get
pushed
Linda,
out
if you
there
don't
from
sit
my
back a little ways.
I don't want you to. I just want me.
from my music teacher. Get out there, sing that song. Come on, get out there. Your mom's out there. I sing that song. She goes, if you don't get out there and sing that song, I'm going to ground you for 3 months. together.
Okay, honey. Yeah, we're ready.
We're ready.
Okay, we're getting ready to start our memories chat. This is a memories chat, and I thought it might be fun to start out with some song that we all liked. What song would you like to sing?
Why don't you start out with the date and what this is?
Okay, this is Thanksgiving Day, 1998. And this is our memories chat.
I can remember one of you.
Down memory lane. Okay, any song you want to sing? I am a child of God? Alright, 1, 2, 3. I am a child of God, and He has sent me here, has given me an earthly home, with parents kind and dear. Lead me, guide me, walk beside me, help me find the way. Teach me all that I must do to live with Him someday. Very good. Yay!
It sounded good to me.
Sounded good to you. Okay.
I remember when we used to still sing when we was kids.
Do what?
When we used to sing when we was kids. Smokey the Bear,
Yeah.
Smokey the Bear, howling and growling and a sniffing in the air. He could smell a fire before it starts to burn. That's why they call him Smokey. That's how he got his name. We'd sing that all the time we'd go to the mountains.
Yeah. And play I Spy?
Yeah. Yeah. Whoever saw the birthday got them all.
What? Okay, we'll make it a game, and we'll start with Kim. And we'll say, I can remember one of the most funnest things I can remember as a child. Now, if you can close your eyes and visualize an old Model T Ford. Oh, it was such a wonderful car.
I don't remember any of those things.
And us 3 or 4 or 5 little kids would pile in the back of it with all the camping stuff. How many?
A Model A.
Oh, Model A. And we would go out camping in the mountains. And I can remember we would be driving down roads looking for deers, and all of a sudden we'd be off in a gully. But we never got stuck. We could always just get right back out again.
And this car didn't have a top on it.
And it didn't. And one time I can remember us going down the Salt River Canyon, and it was raining, and the car didn't have a cover. And it was raining, and you know when things are wet in the mountains, how beautiful they are? Well, it was just so beautiful, and I can remember one of us must have had to go potty, and so Daddy had to stop, and we found this Gila monster. And so we put it in something and took it home, and when we got it home, we let it out in the fields. I never did see it after that, but okay. Go ahead, Kim.
It's probably over around the old ruin somewhere.
Or if you don't have anything in mind, just say pass, and we'll go on, and then we'll go around again.
You're gonna have to talk up loud so we can get this.
Okay. I remember when we went camping for a reunion, and there were horses in the pasture. Me and my mom and Aunt Sherry and who else? Felicia, Teresa, I don't know. And the horses got spooked and they ran real fast and they just farted like crazy when they were galloping up. We almost all went
Okay, Candy, what do you want to share?
Well, I'll let John tell it, but I'll remind him.
This is the first time Candy went out to dinner with me and my mom and Dad, and we went to Sir George's, which is a smorgasbord, and Candy had one piece of chicken.
That's all she would take.
That's all she ate, was one piece of chicken.
We tried to get her to take the neck, but she wouldn't take it.
I was just too embarrassed to eat in front of anybody. Which is weird.
I was that way too.
I was too,
Oh,
yeah.
it was terrible to have to eat.
That's the way Grandma used to. When I first met her, that's all she would eat too. They told you the little dinky thing.
I don't know this whole thing.
Now it's your turn, Grandpa.
And Johnny hadn't said anything. He just talked to Candy that time.
Well, you don't want to hear mine, Frank?
Go ahead. I want to hear yours.
Let's hear yours now, John.
I remember in the summertime when we were just little kids, I would pull, maybe it was on a weekend night or something. It must have been on like a Friday night or something. I would ask Mom if I could pull the mattress out underneath where the air would come out of the vent and sleep underneath the air and make a tent. I used to think that was a real thrill.
You were cool, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, Grandpa.
Well, I remember one time I and Uncle Lee was over in the field between our place and his house. There used to be alfalfa out in there. We was out in there knocking a golf ball around. And lo and behold, all at once we heard a big old explosion up the field a ways, and pretty quick we heard something go hit right down by our feet. And Joe and Sam and Danny, I guess, and Philip was up in the old pond, and they had a pipe there, and they had stuffed it full of matches and all kind of stuff, and then they put that daggone old window weight, you know, they're about that long, about that big round, them old time window weights.
Oh my God.
Put that in that pipe, and then they lit that thing, and off it went. That thing just came down at our feet. We could hear it coming before it ever got there. We didn't know what in the world it was.
Oh my word.
Hit just a little ways from us. Boy, it knocked her head off.
Oh, here's Marcy. Is that Aunt Marcy? Uh-huh. Oh, I didn't think she was coming. I would have gone to pick her up.
Well, she could tell you all kind of things.
I wonder which chair would be good for her.
Probably one like Frank's got.
Probably the one you're sitting on. Well, that one rolls, is she? All right, Frank. This one is pretty low.
What do you remember, huh? One time I was plowing out in the field across the road from my sweetie's place. Before we was married quite a while, and I was plowing those old tractor out there and lining up some land to pasture for the cows. And I was getting awful hungry, and pretty quick here she come with a big old piece of stuff steak about that big. Well, who is this? Well, hello, sister.
Green chair, Margie.
I don't care.
Fine. I've got to run.
You're gonna leave us, Carl?
Yeah. What?
You're gonna leave?
Yeah,
You just got here.
I know. We got kids at the house and stuff. So
we'll take her home when do you guys want her home?
Well, here I guess it goes over to Second Sardine.
Okay, we'll take her.
Okay.
We'll take her. Thanks for bringing her over.
See you, Tom.
Oh, this my sins?
Yes. Yeah.
Hallelujah.
That's why I came.
Well, I'm sure glad you did. This is some big old Mexican Indian squash to get about that big around their big old rough.
It was an 18-pound squash.
Oh, goodness.
And they're real good. They just love to eat them, roast them or bake them. And
you can make your pies out of them.
Yeah. So I'm going to plant some down in Missouri next summer. We're trying to tell them what we're doing.
We're telling memories, and Daddy's right in the process. Start over with your story. I didn't get to hear it, Dad.
Well, I done told it.
Well, tell it.
I don't chew my food twice.
I didn't hear it.
Yeah, you do.
Come on, Grandpa, tell it
I didn't
again.
hear that one.
Which one?
The last one you told about the cow or something.
Chocolate
Mama,
cake.
would you know?
Oh, the chocolate
She brought the
cake.
cow.
I was just hearing half the story.
I was out in the field across from where they lived, plowing. The guys, he had 8 acres, he wanted me to plow it, and so I was working out in there plowing it, and she decided to show me she could bake a cake.
This is Mama.
Yeah. So boy, I tell you, she come out there with a big old chunk of, big old thing, wedge of cake, chocolate cake, and I mean that was some of the best cake I ever did eat. She won my heart. She said I knew a man's heart, so his stomach. So,
Say that.
yes, it did.
No, I said that. If you didn't, then you should have.
It sure was a good cake. I was hungry too.
It makes your story a lot better.
That's your twin.
Well, I'll tell a story. I don't know whether you remember Margie. Just before you got married, you gave us a shower.
You lived up in Finley's old house, up on that corner there.
And you baked the cake, and you put the little ring. You wrapped it in wax paper and put it in the cake. And the next one that got the ring was supposed to be the next one to get married. Well, nobody could find the ring. We looked, and everybody didn't know where the ring was. And after they started playing games or something, I was standing by Grandma, great Grandma. That would be
Anna Rebecca.
That would be Kim's. Let's say, be your daddy's great grandmother and your great great grandmother. She was just a little old tiny thing, 4'11" about, and she was just a sweet little old thing. She had this ring in her hand. She slipped it in my mind. She said, "You should have this." That's sweet.
Okay. Honey, you tell a memory.
Well, before I tell any of my memories, I want to straighten out this one story that Grandma and Grandpa were telling. Is the way I hear it is that Grandma asked Grandpa to marry.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Took him the cake and then asked him to marry her.
I said yes too when I tasted that cake.
One of my first memories of the family, after Elaine, was the Sunday lunches with homemade lemon vanilla ice cream.
Boy, we had it, didn't we?
Okay, Ray.
Past Linda.
Okay.
No fair about that.
Oh gosh. Well, I remember going down that Salt River Canyon too. And I remember Daddy used to get as close to the edge as he could to scare us to death. He'd
getting way over there, and I remember I thought we was all gonna die.
Well, I had to see that in there, and I couldn't.
It was further for you to see than.
Yeah, we could see real close.
That's to drive down the canal, and that seems like that's what he'd do too.
Okay, Aunt Margie, what's some of your memories?
I'll tell you this, and you'll probably faint. You remember when Lee used to work at the ice plant? There was a man there. Can't think of his name now.
Crumb?
What?
Crumb? The boss?
Crumb?
Yeah. He said, Elaine looks more like me than Margie does. I didn't know that Margie looked too much like me anyway.
She looks like her daddy, huh? Didn't she? Yeah, she looks like one boy.
Let me think. When Sammy and Eleanor were going together, was that the first temple Easter morning deal they had?
That was the first Easter morning they'd been together.
Yeah, and you two and Lee and I went. Margie was a baby. And I guess I always loved Eleanor. She couldn't help it, and neither could I.
She was always a sweet little gal.
And so that's the reason he married her, because he just couldn't get over her. Being so nice.
Now, come on, Ray.
Margie, do you remember when we were just little tykers about that big, and you dressed me up in the little girl dresses and all that stuff? We
And
play
you
house.
look so cute. After all, I wanted a sister.
And I had to be it, didn't I?
Did you play house then? You dress him up and then play house, or just dress him up?
Well, golly, I didn't get to get him dressed up.
Oh.
I don't think we played house, but I don't know.
I can remember you dressed them in dresses. That's all I can remember.
Well, I had two dresses. So
I had a little
you
nigger
wear
doll,
one.
a little baked black doll, and I always played with it. And Uncle Eddie threw it up on top of the old house, and I couldn't get it.
Oh. You mean my doll?
Yeah.
Yeah. He knew how I loved my dolls. And this was one made out of celluloid. And he took it and he threw it up on the house. So I went around to the big apricot tree, and I was climbing up onto the house so I could go get it. Daddy, Margie's climbing up on the roof. You don't want her climbing up on the roof, do you? Margie, you get down from there right now. But one time they weren't around. And I got up there and got my doll.
And you didn't fall.
What?
And you didn't fall.
No, I didn't. And I didn't ruin the roof either. That was the main thing. Daddy didn't want us walking around up there.
Okay.
But Eddie was being hungry.
Do you remember when we used to be going on vacation in that old car, old open Ford? We'd be going along up the mountains, and these new cars would pass us and start counting everybody in the car, you know. And
That was
see how many.
us. That wasn't Margie.
No, it was, I spoke to her.
Lynn. Oh.
And
counting the kids that we had in the car. And we'd go along, and pretty quick that new car would be stopped with the hood raised up, just boiling over, and our little old putt-putt was going right on, and we'd wave on and start counting them guys in there.
Lady probably remembers that more than Linda, because Linda was only 1 or 2 years old. She wasn't very young.
We all went to church in our car, and when we came home, we were absent 2 kids. Bill and Danny.
Oh no.
They were walking along the canal road, and when they'd see a car come, they'd hide behind a tree.
But they couldn't find you, huh?
We finally found them. We were so sorry.
Was it you, Johnny, that we left the church?
Conference one time, wasn't it?
Uh-huh.
Didn't I walk over to Laney and Glenn's house or something? Or,
I don't think so. We went back to the church house and got you.
Oh, did it?
You left me at the old Fourth Ward.
That was where we lived.
Had so many kids, you didn't know what to do, huh?
Do you remember?
We thought we had them all.
Do you remember the time that we were going up to the lake and Martha, she was determined she got to sit in the front. So she ran out and got in the front seat. And I thought she was out in the car, and all the rest of you kids got in the car. And just before we was ready to go, she slipped in, thought, I've got to go to the bathroom. She slipped in, went to the bathroom, and we thought she was in the car. And, well, she wanted to sit by the window, that's what it was. She wanted to sit by the window. And we got out, well, we went about a mile, I guess, before we realized she wasn't there. And she was just sobbing when we got back.
Oh, left alone.
She was not very old.
Oh, you mean you left her there?
At the house.
When they went fishing.
Oh.
We just went a little ways.
I hope she found this.
When Martha and Carl was up in Idaho, this was in the wintertime, they'd been to church, they got home, started counting heads, and one of them was missing. I think it was Justin. And it was in the wintertime, and it's cold up there.
Cold up there, yeah.
And boy, they went back, looked all over, and they couldn't find the little feller, and they looked, just drove all around. But he'd got over a little ways from the church house. There's a oil depot, and there was 2 big tanks going way up there with fuel in, and he got over and got between them. Nobody could see him. I don't know how they happened to find him, but found him after a few told church in the minutes, I guess it was. They thought it was ours. They found him some way, but
Well, they had a whole bunch of people out looking for him.
boy, he would have froze, but they'd stayed out all night.
Oh,
It was cold, and he got back in there.
I remember a story.
Oh, good.
This is back in the days when life was hard. Back when there was no sun. I remember those days.
I do too. There's dinosaurs back there.
Yeah.
No, we was pretty young. It was over at Grandma and Grandpa's house as a family. I remember going to the side of the car and opening up the car door real quietly and getting in for some reason or other. Can't remember what it was for, but I just remember opening the door real quietly and then shutting it real quietly, and I didn't shut it all the way, it was just shut. And it stayed that way for several hours, and when we all got in to go home, I guess nobody got in that side of the door, and everybody got into the driver's side. It was a 4-door, but everybody got into the driver's side and just scooted over. My little brother Terry was up there against the door, and as he was coming down 8th North and hit 8th State Street, turned south, and here the door opened right up, and Terry fell right out the door and just went like this, and And then he got up and started running after us. And then Mom and Dad turned around and stopped, all in a panic, because little Terry, I think he was only about 3 years old.
Oh, that's the reason he could get up.
Yeah.
We all got a lecture about how we need to close the door. I never told him that it was me that done it in the first place.
Oh.
But you learned anyway.
Now who do we got left?
Oh.
We've already been around.
We've already been around.
Can you think of anything more, Margie? I know you got lots of stories. I told him you'd have more stories than Carter's got pills.
Well, you know, there's a lot of them I shouldn't tell.
Reopen up the family confession. Been holding that in, Ray?
Been holding it in. Can't tell you how long. I've had a guilty conscience on that for I don't know how many years.
Now you can forget it.
That's the only thing I feel guilty about, though.
Do you remember that old truck that we used to have?
That what?
That old truck made out of a Maxwell truck, Maxwell car.
Yeah.
It had a big gas tank down on the side. And one day it come back, we found a big old dent in the side of the tank. And nobody knew how it got there. But I and my cousin, in those days they didn't have electric lights and stuff. They had used carbide to gas to make the lights, and Stapley's had a big machine shop, and they used lots of carbide there, and they had a big old pile of it outside, and Daddy owed a little bill there. And he said, Sammy, I want you to take the truck and go load that stuff up, clean that up, and they'll take my bill away, and take it down to the dump yard, and then come right straight back, don't go nowhere else. So I said, okay. I got my cousin Julian, and we went up and loaded it, and we took it down to the dump yard. Got down there all right, and it was hot, you know, and with Harris's swimming hole over there, you know where you used to go to Harris's swimming hole? Down below McClellan Road? Yeah, we said, well, we'll go down there and swim for a while. And we was going along the road, and then it came to a sharp turn like that, and it's a gravel road, and I said, Sam, I said, Julian, I'm show you how fast I can take this turn. So I sped it up, and he started hitting the brake, and to slow me down. Anyway, we went around that corner, and the back end slid off down in the bar pit, you know, and just about that deep. And over, we turned right on over. And just to show you what you can do when you're scared, he and I got up, we lifted that darn thing up, and we got it back on its wheels. But we had to crank it, and we couldn't crank it. The motor was, no, the starter wouldn't start it because the motor was kind of cramped, and we couldn't start it, so we had to call home and on the phone, call Eddie to come and get us. But you know, I don't think he ever did tell Daddy. He come and brought us a crank, and he cranked it up, and we just drove it up out there and went on home. We didn't get to swim, but a year later, just before he died, I told him, Daddy, did you ever notice that gas tank? Yeah, I noticed it. I didn't think much of it. It wasn't much of a dent. And he said, well, that's the one that put us in there. Of course, I was always a good boy. He said, Sammy, you was always a good boy. I never had to spank you. He forgot a lot of the whippings that he gave me, boy.
Because you didn't forget him, huh?
No, sir. Man, I don't think he ever did whip Eddie, but he sure did me. Because I was ornery. I'd go off and go swimming, and I was supposed to be cultivating the cotton, and come back, and the old horse went around and around, and got everything all tore up, mixed up, and took me a couple hours to get it ready before I could go back to work. One day he come home and I was gone, and he come looking for me. He got a switch off of a mesquite tree. And boy, he seen me down there in that old pumping plant down there by Clement's old garage now. And come on. And I changed clothes in the box because there's a bunch of train cars on the old track there. I had to get up in there, and he helped me real fast with that switch. Get up in there, and I changed my clothes, and I think I jumped about 14 feet. Get away from him, and I run for the truck. But he got me home. I went to cultivating too. So they don't believe in getting spanked anymore. It didn't do me any harm. In fact, it did me good, if anything. I knew I needed it. It didn't bother me. To whip a kid now and you're just the same as killing somebody.
Daddy once told me that this orange tree, he cut the lower oranges off one day and shaped the tree a little. And he went, then he was gone, and when he come back, Sammy was out there really getting those oranges out of sight. He thought his kids had done it. And he was trying to spare them. Daddy's the one that told me that.
Yeah. He used to tell stories out of school. Well, you folks, that's you go.
You want us to?
No, what? He did.
John, Candy, you don't have to go anywhere.
They want to go. Let's see, I remember the memories I had back when my mom.
Is this the one?
This is Derek.
This is Mary's memory
He's our
of
big
Grandma
boy.
and Grandpa.
Big boy. That's his brother up there, Cullen.
I didn't see him that good.
Did you ever meet Cullen at Margie?
That's Derek.
At Margie?
Oh, see, I don't know anything about Grandma and Grandpa.
We met at the temple.
Oh, you met at the temple?
Derek.
Can you see John and Candy, two beautiful little girls right there, Margie?
Can you see Jenny and Kim? And then Miss Jenny's husband, Colin.
Do you want to sit here by Daddy? Yeah, you can tell the story too.
I remember the first time I got to spend the night at anybody's house, it was Aunt Margie's house. I woke up about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I started bawling. And I started bawling and bawling, and you had to bring me home.
How old were you?
Oh.
21.
No, that's when I got my driver's license. I probably was about 3.
Margie?
She had reason then.
Margie, do you remember the time that you and Sam were in that play at Mutual? And he was painted like a black man?
Oh, Elaine was in it too. Weren't you?
Were you in? No, I don't think so.
Oh,
anyhow,
English maiden, he was a black man.
there was a skull that was in the play. And you had it in your house. And one time when Ruthie was old, she was about 3, she went over to your house and she went right on in, no one was home. And she saw that skull laying there on the I don't know where it was, but she saw it. And she said she ran out of that house fast as she could go, and she said that taught her to never go into anybody's house again if they weren't home.
If I know that else goes in this here house, I never would have come into this here house. I still remember what I had to say, one of them.
I remember something in the condo and everyone go home.
Oh no, that was the award show.
Yeah, you were in that one.
No, I was in that one. I was the little black girl from the Congo.
Oh.
You want me to sing it?
Yes.
Bongo, bongo, bongo. Oh no, let's see. Bongo, bongo, bongo. I don't want to leave the Congo. Oh no, 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 no.
Bravo.
We had our hair pulled up here with a little bow. Bow right here.
I remember that.
We got to go to Salt Lake. Our award won, and we got to go to Salt Lake and give it because of you. Are you going to sing a song?
Can you tell us a story, Derek? Will you tell us a story?
Sing a song for him.
How about singing a song?
Ready? Closing time.
Jenny and Kim tied.
I think.
Hey,
Just a little for it. Leading cheers. The girls still cheerleaders?
Oh yeah, they are.
They're cheering for one another.
Do a stand up. Okay.
Oh no, Colin, you do some good jumps.
There was some, when you guys lived across the street from the school, didn't you live across the street from the school somewhere? And we went down to that school and watched the girls.
Oh yeah. Pop Warner.
Yeah, they went down there.
No.
Oh, Fields. Oh, Fields.
Yeah, Jenny was a Pop Warner cheerleader.
Well,
I'm thinking both the girls.
one is
Just junior.
when the junior high was playing, you did it.
Kim did it in junior high school.
I didn't see it, but Daddy and Mama, they went to a play that you were in down in the basement of the old 7th and 8th grade school, you know, there down in the music room, and you were acting out the Chicken Little where the sky fell in.
Oh.
And you were in that play, and they went to see it.
Is that right?
You don't remember it? See there?
That's why we need you here.
I didn't get to see it either.
I remember I was Santa Claus one time when I was in the 2nd grade to the school, but I don't remember.
You played Santa Claus? Wow.
You remember when you used to come when I was low second, you used to come help me get my numbers together? The teacher went and got you to come out to them. I couldn't get it. So
you wasn't.
she had you come and help me learn my numbers.
Got me to come help you?
Yeah.
I couldn't do my numbers.
I thought she helped you read.
Well, we read with numbers, letters, little
I
letters.
could read real good, but I couldn't.
You told me that she helped you read.
Well,
I mean, little cards, little letters. Is that what you mean?
Never mind.
That play we were in, broke loose. That was a hobgoblin.
You remember it?
Into it.
You remember the time we went up camping up there to Hoodoo Creek? Hoodoo Creek up there, that side of Payson? We at the old lumber sawmill there, and we just got put to bed, and that old mountain lion come down through the creek, screaming at us.
Well, I didn't remember that, but Mama, that's when Verdine was a baby. Because, boy, when it got morning and light, we moved out of there because she was crazy. Well, I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah, Daddy told me about that. He said that she'd had a terrible intuition that they'd better leave if there was something dangerous, something bad going to happen. And there'd been some riders going through there, awful looking riders riding horses.
Table they had.
Well, one time we camped up by Mormon Lake, and the road went right by the lake.
Yeah.
Right down by it. And we were going to camp out that night. And Daddy had a little light that was connected to the battery some way. So we had the light. But they tied Sam up this because he could walk in his sleep and I didn't walk into the lake. And they weren't taking any chances.
I'd been better off if I had him. A big catfish that he got me.
I did that.
Sure, Grandpa.
Did it?
Well, what do you think, Linda, Elaine? What do you think? Have we been talking enough?
Well, what do you all think?
I think so.
Johnny, do you have any memories you'd like to tell us?
I remember Johnny liked to go hawking when he was going to school out there. He had a paper out, and they kept getting some free tickets to go to the hockey games. So, boy, we got to go see some hockey games.
Yeah, that was fun.
And you know what? One time I had to go somewhere, and I couldn't go with Johnny that night, and so he took his friends, and that was the last time I ever got to go with him.
I don't remember that, Papa.
But it was so fun. We saw some real bristly hockey games, brother. Getting off come the gloves and go to fighting.
Do you remember the time you and Mark was on the basketball team and everybody fouled out and there was just you and Mark left on the team?
2 against 5?
Yeah.
2 against 5. It was like right at the end of the game.
It was state playoff too.
Yeah.
And then who
We
was
won.
which one of you was the last one out on the
I was.
You were the last one.
And Mark fouled out, and I was the last one.
We won that game.
They won the game.
That was a lot of fun.
I remember when Grandpa.
But some of my best memories are a lot of memories. You know, up in the White Mountains. You know, playing sports with Daddy, being our coach, and a lot of good memories.
Did Daddy ever embarrass you?
I don't. If he did, I don't remember.
When Forrest, he went to see Forrest ball game one time, and he, you know how he hollers and yells for him, and Forrest told his mom, "Mom, I don't like Grandpa to come to my games. He embarrasses me."
That's better than like what the referee did. I let him know about it. I only got put out of one game though, didn't I? So it was played out in Gilbert. I don't know what team we was playing, but I said something I shouldn't have again, so they put me out of the game. We had some good little basketball players out there.
Yeah, we had a good team out in Gilbert.
You won the state, and then got to play with somebody else before you got put out.
You remember when Daddy got you that 3-wheeler up there and up at Aunt Margie's cabin? We was up there at Margie's cabin at the Holly Lake. And
Remember we had a tote goat.
is that what it was?
Tote goat, and I got lost.
You got lost.
You flew all down
I
there.
was driving all over the place. I could not find the cabin one. And finally they found me. I was scared.
You were about 12
You
then.
remember when it tipped over on its side? The boat started burning up.
Yeah.
I know we went up the Pinal Mountains once and we'd camped out and been having a good time and all at once I couldn't find Carl. And he was just a little guy, about 3. And we went over just a little ways and down through the canyon was nothing but pine trees. There's no way you could have found him down there. And we were calling him, running here and there. I was so scared. I know that I prayed about it. And I went back to the camp in case he should come back. And I looked, and he was in the back seat of the car asleep.
Oh.
I was so glad to see that.
Are you folks getting cold? No, we can go in the house.
Margie, do you remember up there at your cabin how one time Grandpa and Grandma and I you'd all gone to church, and we looked out the window and there those little bears were, and they'd just stand up and look in the window. It was kind of scared you a little bit.
They didn't try to go in or anything?
No, but one time Grandpa was, he had brought watermelons and had them out on the porch, and he went and opened the door. I don't know why he opened the door. Maybe he heard something out there, and there stood that bear right there in front of him. See, he didn't know who was the scaredest, him or the bear.
He just opened the back door and there it stood.
Yeah. But they were after the watermelons. One time we were up there and Daddy brought a bunch of watermelons and they had been getting into his watermelons. He had them on the porch. So we slept in upstairs and we heard them. And we looked out and there that old mother bear had gotten one down and she had 2 little baby bears and they were eating them.
Sound like a bunch of hogs eating.
And he had a watermelon and he just dropped it out the window right on the little bear's head.
Oh, really?
Oh, she took 2 grunts.
Rare 'em.
Those 2 little
Baby
bears.
bear?
No, that's a mama bear. And the 2 baby bears went right up the tree as fast as they could go. It was really kind of neat. You
Just
know.
limbs are
She
flying.
warned them little bears and boy, they were out of there.
We went to the dump once and we saw the mother bear and 3 little ones. And Lee got out of the car and took the camera and went over as close as he could. Well, the mother got those little cubs to go up in the tree and she laid down right at the foot of the tree.
Oh my goodness.
And Lee was
when Ruthie was maybe 5 or 6, we'd gone up there and you didn't have anything but a trailer up there on your lot. And she got to looking at, she saw this old bear out there and she decided she's going to go chase it. Before I could get to her, she was out chasing that bear and thank goodness it went away from her instead of coming towards her. Kind of scary.
Lee used to go hiking up on the hill, and the whole forest was our backyard. And he went up, I don't know how far he went, and he saw a bear up in all those berries. Anyway, he was watching it, and it was coming toward him. He was sitting there not blinking an eye, and it kept coming right toward him. And I don't know, he must have made a movement or something finally, and it turned and ran. But he was getting kind of worried about it. We had one tree there. in one of those trees. And there was a dog that kept it up in the tree. Anyone else?
Jenny, you're newly arrived.
Tell us some of your memories about different things.
Okay. What I remember is just the house where we were, when we lived close to him. What street was that on?
First place.
First place. I just remember always playing Red Rover. The backyard swing and Grandma's piano. I would always try to pretend like I knew what I was doing. But just that house, I just remember so many things. I remember when I first started to drive. My dad was in the passenger seat. And I was pulling up right in their driveway, and my dad's like, okay, let's stop. So I thought I pressed the brakes, but I actually pressed the gas. And so I kind of hit their post.
They don't want me to lose.
Always dad's like, emergency brake. Yeah, I just really liked their backyard and just the fun times we had back there. It just seemed so big back then, like we would explore. But yeah, it was a bunch of fun.
Well, you were. I didn't realize you were that old when we.
I was there when I was up there with him.
Were you?
You're the one that pushed him, huh?
Well, the darn pigeons all going up there too, and they messed around on the food. And on the west side, you get only about that much room to walk, and he had his back right against the tank, and he eased his way along, and his foot slipped. Down there, he caught a little old limb and kept him from going head first, and he lit on his hands and knees, but his head went down and hit the ground. They bit his lip, just plumb in two right in through there.
You know, right along the side of the tank, it was real narrow in places,
Yeah.
but on the ends it was more space.
Yeah, that was what the trouble was. You know what? Uncle Al came down to get him, and he was gonna thrash him for falling off of that tank. Dad said, "You're not gonna touch that boy." He was gonna whip the tar out of him. I remember one time I was thrashing grain up there, out north of Grandma, where you used to live out there in the chicken pen. We was thrashing grain out there, and Aunt Julian was playing around, and I was getting a little of the best of him, and his dad seen it, and he come over and said, "Don't you touch that boy anymore, or I'll thrash you." I reached over and touched him just like that, and he made out like he was going to hit me. He hit him just like that, right in the chin. He flopped down on the ground. That was the end of that.
You and Julian.
You were on real character.
I wasn't going to have him beating on me. I'd just get a man as he was.
Right, then.
Huh?
That's a little bit better.
Good.
Then there was the time he plugged all the watermelons.
Yeah, but he got the best of me on that. He didn't get a whipping, and I did. Daddy Farrar got all about that, though. You know, we're looking at 5 acres of watermelons, looking for one to eat. So every time they do one so big, well, we'd plug it, then turn it under, turn it over so nobody see the plug. In about a week, they started turning yellow. Daddy got to going around, what in the world turning these melons? Boy, he come up there, I was up to Grandma's. That's where they used to live there. Sammy, did you kids plug those melons? Yeah. Oh, he had a switch, and he let me have it. So I never plugged no more melons.
Verdine didn't get here, did she?
Who?
Verdine.
Hello? Yes.
You called her, didn't you? But dug it out, and then yesterday morning I put butter in my frying pan and some of that on top, salt and pepper. It was good.
It was good.
Then I put a couple of eggs in. Biggest breakfast I've had in years.
And it was good too.
Does Ray have to work tomorrow? Is that why they left?
I don't know, honey.
Yes,
Are you taking us in pictures?
Would I do something like that?
I think you would.
That's why Mama's sitting over there.
Yeah.
I thought, well, that's weird.
I didn't want to get in the picture.
I said, that's weird. What's she sitting over there for? That's it.
She didn't want to
Well, we'll
steal
just
part of the picture.
we'll just teach her something, won't we?
I'll take my picture.
You ought to turn it to her now.
That's what he just did.
That's what he's done. He's got that on me. Break his camera. Bob broke it a while ago. Just looking at it.
I know when Chuck and Charlene got married, they had a little camera taking moving pictures of a lot of it, and there was some left on it. And so they were after Franny, that's her mother, Charlene's mother. And she ran from her house, and then there was some shrubbery, a line of it, and she ran around and rolled on the ground on the other side of it, and there they were right after her. They had her all, every bit of it, just they're trying to get away.
Charlene's mother's still alive?
Charlene's mother died, didn't she, years ago?
Yeah. Yeah, Leroy was going to take Cindy and Shauna to a father-daughter deal, and she died that night, so they didn't go. But then he married this Cheryl, and that ended in a divorce.
Dad, you want to throw the phone?
But she was after him. He can't hear it. From the time Francis died.
I'll get that and I'll get the other one.
And that turned
Hello?
the children against him.
Hello?
Then she
You're
married
thankful?
June.
We are. We just finished ours. Your dad and mom are sitting here with Aunt Margie and telling whoppers. Yeah. Have you had yours yet, Mark?
I can't think of his name, but he used to. Everybody
did, huh?
laughed every time he started to say something.
Your mama just is heading out in to get onto the phone. She says, "Oh,
And
Mark, I
anyway,
gotta go talk to him."
June.
So you doing
her
okay,
husband
Mark?
was his brother.
You sounding
And they were
good.
both killed in an airplane accident.
Oh, about
And
88.
she ended
So
up
yeah,
marrying Leroy.
yeah. Well,
That was Aunt Verdine.
here's
She
your
said, "Don't
mother.
you leave, they're on their way."
See you, Mark. Love ya.
Charlene said she was just leaving.
Oh,
Is the mark on
But
that?
she said
Mark's on this
Cindy
one,
hadn't
honey.
been there.
I want to skip. My son Mark's on it from Missouri.
Oh.
Full.
Oh.
Yeah. Too full.
What did Aunt Verdine
Yeah,
say?
you big fibber.
They're right on their way.
That sounded good anyway. But I knew if you had, you wouldn't be on your front porch. Yeah, it got hot, huh? Yeah. As far as we know, if you can hold the reins back. Everybody okay? All right. Aye.
Oh my goodness. Stuff is terrible.
What, honey?
That pre-wash gets in my lungs. I used to go to church with Lois Palmer. And sometimes her folks would bring me to my gate, but most of the time they'd let me off at the corner there by the canal. And I was always scared to death to just go that far to get to our house. Oh, yeah. And one night I was hurrying along
Hey,
to
Jack,
get
hey,
to the...
Jack, Marky.
What?
How's old Jack getting along?
He's talking
Jack.
to Mark. He's on the phone
Is his
talking.
wife still alive? Huh.
Anyway, you were saying? There used to be an elderberry tree about halfway that was kind of big. And
I just
so
wondered how he was.
I was hurrying home.
We think about him all the time.
All at once I heard footsteps running right behind me.
Oh no.
And I took off running as fast as I could.
Well, that's good.
And I could tell this gaining on me.
Tell him we'll be back before he knows it.
All at once I just stopped and
Then
turned
he has to
around.
keep
I said,
us warm.
Eddie, is that you? And it was him. Chasing me to scare me.
Oh.
Oh, really?
Shame on him.
For love of Pete.
I couldn't go anyplace unless he drove me there, you know, like to Mutual. And so he wouldn't go just to keep me from going.
Good.
And I started going with
Boy,
Lee
them are
and
good cats.
we walked to Mutual.
Tell them to have some kittens.
And I preferred that anyway.
We'll see you then, son. Thank you for calling. Love you now. Bye-bye. Okay.
Oh, sometimes I think I'm going to yawn my face wrong side out.
Well, they're still talking.
Dallas got beat, huh?
Yeah.
Bad?
49. They're right. The last Dallas made another touchdown. It's 46-36.
Well, I'm saying.
It was 46-29, and they slipped another.
Would you like a different chair?
Oh.
Let me get it for
Or,
you.
or
You
just
don't
have her
to
sit in
get
this
it
one.
here,
honey.
honey. No, I'll get
Here,
another one.
I can get right here. I can get
Okay,
right here.
good night.
You can take that chair.
I can do things for myself yet. Okay.
But she needs to be over by your dad and Uncle Rulin.
Okay. You need
Mark,
to be
you want to
right
sit
here.
No, you're fine.
He just can't get her in the picture. I don't want to be in the picture.
Well,
Okay.
but you want to get where we can hear her. Right? She can hear us.
Yeah. There you go.
Sounds like a cowbell
You trying to
coming.
hide again?
No, I'm fine, Mark.
She's trying to hide away from the
I don't
camera.
like that camera.
If
he keeps it
Well, what did you guys do today? Have all the kids out?
Yeah, Brent and Karine weren't there because
What?
I was just saying that Brent and Karine and the boys weren't at our house today because their parents just got back from their mission. They went on a mission to
Timbuktu.
Chicago.
Who did?
Chicago.
Karine, Brent's wife's parents went on a mission to Chicago. And so they just got back. So they had Thanksgiving dinner at their house. So they didn't come to our house today.
Oh,
But the rest of them came. So,
Are they pretty good about bringing something so you
Oh,
don't have
yeah.
to make the whole dinner?
Yeah. Usually I make the rolls but Sharon says, well, Karen's gonna make them this year because she wants to. Karen didn't know anything about it. I mean, that she wanted to, you know. But she made them, and there was rolls left over. She made so many of them. But so she took some home, and then the others took some home, and there's
That's
still
Nora
rolls there.
Dunford. That Nora Dunford's about her funeral.
They said she had a Pepsi machine and coolers there, and chairs, so everybody could have a good time.
That was at the
At the cemetery.
Cemetery.
She had chairs out there too.
She had chairs and a Pepsi machine and coolers, and she didn't want anybody to be thirsty, and have a place for them to sit down. And
Did you have a good old time out there then?
We didn't go out to the cemetery. We went to the funeral, but we went out there. I had to go home, and she had to have. She wanted them to have Spanish food at the church, you know, afterwards. So I was making Spanish rice, and I started it, but I didn't finish it. So I had to go home after the funeral and finish it, and then take it down there. So.
Well, she wasn't down very long then.
She
Laying in
wasn't
bed. She wasn't in bed.
Oh no, it was like on Thursday or Friday that she didn't feel very good, so she called the paramedics, and they came and got her and took her to the hospital, and then about on Tuesday, I think no, it was on Friday she died. I guess maybe it was the first of the week, like maybe Monday or anyway. She died on Friday, and her funeral wasn't until the next Saturday.
Oh. Was her son at the funeral?
What?
Was her son at the funeral?
Yeah.
Donald?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had, and they said that David Palmer is going to buy her house.
He's gonna buy it?
David Palmer?
Yeah,
What's
well,
the matter with his dad's
not
house?
for him to live in, but because they bought Scoresby's house. Scoresby's house.
What
is
David
big and with a swimming pool and everything.
What David Palmer is this?
Oh, David is
David,
you know, Ronnie's brother.
Newell's son, David Palmer.
Well, what's the other one's name? About Scoresby's house?
David.
Well, what's the one about this deer house?
David, honey.
David's the same
He's
person.
the same person.
Same person, but he just bought it so that.
Oh,
well, he's got two children married, hasn't he?
To rent, huh?
To rent, and then when one of his boys got married, then he could live there for a while, and so they.
What the heck does he do for a living?
He's a CPA, certified public accountant for the Farnsworth Company.
Farnsworth.
Land development and stuff, I don't know what all.
Yeah.
But Nora had a lot of rose bushes out in the front.
Yeah, I know she did.
And so they said, well, let's just get rid of them all. And Kathy says, oh, no, you won't. She said, if anybody wants one, they'd let them get the rose bush. And, you know, instead of throwing them all away, let somebody get some use out of them. So, her roses are real pretty, but I think her yard's going to look a lot nicer with just lawn.
With the roses out.
Yeah, because it's...
Well, the roses is old, you know, and they're scrubby.
Yeah, she's had quite a time. You know, 'cause even irrigation, you know, she needs water in between, and it costs quite a bit for city water on them.
Was the boys from Washington here?
No, Marlon didn't make it.
He didn't make it for Thanksgiving, huh?
No. You mean Bishop Rogers?
No, Marlon.
He's the bishop.
Well, I know that, but I meant Marlin.
he didn't make it. He went to Portland, Oregon.
The bishops can't always get away, but I thought maybe Marlin could.
Kathy's brother lives in Portland, or around that area.
Well, we have kids in Oregon too.
You do?
Yeah, Martha's boy.
Who?
Martha's son, Chris.
Oh.
She married a little girl from Oregon. He married a little girl from Oregon, and he's there. He works in. He's a dentist worker in there, fixes teeth.
Oh.
Yeah, they're going to have. They do have a little baby, don't they?
They had one.
Yeah, so. Giants are growing. How many of you guys got on the way?
Well, we have one more great-grandchild on the way.
How many grandchildren?
None on the way.
We got one on the way.
Well, good for you.
Not me. Not good for me, but good for them.
Which one of your grandchildren?
Who is it, honey?
Oh, Shelley. Shelley?
But that's a great-grandchild.
No, not Shelley. Linda. Ruthie.
Oh.
And how many will that make her?
12. 13.
Well, that's her 12th one she's had, but 13 with Darlene. You know, she adopted Darlene.
Oh, that'll make her 12.
We just had our 110th great grandchild, and I haven't heard of a soul expecting another one.
We've
got about 75 now.
110. And we have 10.
Seems like they're coming fast and furious now.
Time tells all.
Alicia, that's Janice's daughter, she said she was pregnant, and she took the test, and it says pregnant, but she wasn't.
Oh.
There's something else. And they had to go in and do a D&C or whatever. Anyway, and clean her out, and I don't know what it was. There was something that was in there.
Probably a cyst or something.
Yeah, cyst or lump or something. So they said that she'd have to wait a while before she tried to get pregnant again.
I don't think I'll try right away either.
These women, they think they're going to get pregnant all the time.
Well, is it the women that think it, or do the men help it along?
No, men got nothing to do with it.
Yeah, right.
Women couldn't do it by herself.
No.
Did you hear, Rulon, did you hear that story about the old man, 90 years old? He was going walking along the creek, he fishing, and he heard somebody call his name, and he looked around, he couldn't see nobody, and he finally walked on and did it again, and he still couldn't see him, so.
I'll just get the hair there.
Oh. And so he walked on again, finally he said it a little louder. And he looked around and all he could see was a frog down there on the ground. So he said, the frog says, pick me up and kiss me on the lips and I'll turn into the most beautiful girl you ever saw. So he picked him up and put him in his pocket. And he walked on, and the frog says, aren't you going to kiss me on the lips so I can turn into the most beautiful girl you ever saw? And he says, no, at my age, I think I better just carry a talking frog.
He said what? Better carry?
He said, a man at my age better just carry a talking frog in his pocket.
You heard about the old boy that was in the hospital dying? So he called for his doctor and his lawyer, and he said, I want one of you on one side, on the other, so I can die between two thieves.
Yeah, that's about the truth.
Have That'd be good. Get on some tall stories now, wouldn't it? You know, at Josie, they grew good crops. You know. The trouble we had that with our melons is that the big ones grew so fast they drug the little ones to death.
Yeah, you drug them all off. Huh? That's a pretty tall story.
You know what Martin told us? He said that we still have peppers on our vines there in Missouri. Still peppers are still growing.
My pepper vines and pepper plants in Missouri,
And the
my
grass
garden,
is still
they're
green.
still green.
They
They're
have
still putting
grass
on
like
peppers.
up like this is still green.
Yeah.
It's supposed to get down to about 30. I guess it hadn't done it.
Chili
It's
peppers?
70 today.
Chili peppers and bell peppers.
Mark said it's supposed to be nice all this next week.
Well, good. Makes you feel better, huh?
Yeah.
Doesn't make us feel better.
He said, Dad, I got a big 6-point buck hanging up on my front, underneath my front porch.
Got what hanging there?
A big 6-point buck hanging up underneath my front porch.
You do?
Well, that's what Marky said.
Marky said that you had...
Well, he did, out under his porch.
He has a porch that big?
Yeah.
Oh.
And he hung it up there after he killed it.
Did he really kill it?
No.
His laugh.
I said, Marky, it seems over 2 or 3 days ago. And I said, I know if you had it, you wouldn't have it hanging up there. Somebody gets you.
They said if he had it hanging there, it'd be jerky now. It's so warm back there.
Well, Dwayne's been elk hunting the last 2 years, bow hunting. He got a guy's elk both year.
This year too?
And this year too. This year he was standing at a place and here come a cow running right straight at him, you know. And he just stood still and just drove his bow back, went behind the tree. We got his bow back, and when it got nearly to him, it dove to one side. He went lie. He just let it and put it right through the ribs. So about 30 minutes later, went and picked it up, you know. But he said he didn't have to aim.
That close to him, huh?
Yeah, and never seen him because he didn't move, you know. Well, they see movement that quick, you know.
Yeah.
But if you don't move, you're just nothing but a stump there in the way.
They can't see you.
But the last 2 years, he's got his elk bow hunting.
Boy, he's sure lucky.
Yeah.
Clyde's boy can't get one if he gets drawn. He just looks and looks and looks. We can't find it. He could have got a cow this year, but he never did see one.
Well, Dwayne seems to be one of those guys that knows kind of where they're at and how to look and how to prepare, and then he'll shoot one, and he's pretty sure that he's got it, you know. But then he'll just sit and wait nearly a half an hour. In other words, he'll run out there ways and then he'll get sore and die. Because if he starts trailing it, it'll get excited and no telling where it'll end up at. And then he's done that the last 2 years. He'll shoot it and then he'll just wait and he'll go up there a few hundred yards and 30 minutes later he'll go over there and just laid down and died.
What area was they in, you know?
Wood Canyon's lake area.
Woods Canyon, huh? There's a bunch of elk in there already.
Yeah, there is tons of them. We saw tons of them in that area.
Everybody else in your family's okay, huh?
Doing okay. Janice's boy Aaron, you know, is
Janice's boy.
her oldest boy went to Spain on a mission, came back and went up to Hawaii and got a degree in electrical engineering, and he's on with Motorola now. He's been for about 2.5 months now for Motorola down here.
Whose boy was that?
Janice's.
Oh, Janice.
Uh-huh.
Do you get to see him very often, or?
He was there today.
Was he?
Yeah, he comes out. He come out during the week. Who didn't he?
Uh-huh, and fixed my radiator, put another radiator on.
Did he put another in?
Yeah, it's a better one than what I had on, because the one I had
Well,
on
but did he
was,
put the last one on? One that you bought?
no, I haven't got that one on yet. That's a new one. But his is one he's going to throw away, but it's still good. It's in better shape than the one that took off.
Ours was leaking.
Why don't you start with Aunt Margie and tell how many children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren each of you have?
Okay, how many children? How many, huh?
6.
6. How many grandchildren?
48.
And how many great-grand?
110.
Wow, he
Two
gives out.
great. And I'm going on 82.
Okay, Uncle Rulon. Fredine.
Me? Well, we have 10.
10 what?
10
Dogs?
children.
Puppies? Kittens?
Be good, you.
10 children, 44 grandchildren, and 10 great-grandchildren.
Of course, they're all great.
Okay, Dad, Mom.
Well, I'm 80 going on 81, and I'll turn it over to my sweetheart to tell how many children we got, grandchildren.
Well, you can tell.
Louder, honey, so she can hear.
Well, we got 9 beautiful children, and each one of their mates is very, very special. We love them very, very much. Especially that one over there. He's just like our own.
Yeah.
And we
So
have...
we'll stay with him.
And we have...
Next to Martha, you're the...
see, we have 71 grandchildren, and we'll have 72 when Ruthie has hers. And then we've got 75 great-grandchildren, and...
one great.
Then 1 great-great.
Grandchildren. Now you tell your story.
Mine's the same as his.
Did you have anything to add?
Oh.
How many are you expecting?
Just 1 great-grandchild. So...
Now, you had 9 children, and we fudged on you and had 2 of them within 4 minutes, and that's what...
Yeah,
so we cheated on you.
I had to learn how you did
we had to have 1 more than him.
See, Sharon and Karen were born 4 minutes apart.
He kept saying, well, Berdine, when are you going to catch up with us? When are you going to catch up with us? And I said, I'm not running any race.
The thing that you see some of it, but you don't see a lot, 3 generations of twins. See, my wife is a twin. Verdell, died shortly after birth. And then Sharon and Karen are, what, 33 now?
Yeah.
And then Karen has twin boys, Keith and Carl.
And they're 5.
Yeah, they're 5.
No, they're 6.
6.
No telling how many you'll have on down the line.
Aunt Berdine, you had a twin sister. Do you ever feel like she's close to you at all?
Oh, sometimes, I don't know. When I went to grade school, I'd look at somebody, I think, I wonder if my twin would look like her. I wonder if my twin would look like her. I was wondering what she would look like. And, but I think maybe that's one reason why Heavenly Father sent me twins. Because I miss mine.
Your sister. Uh-huh.
Did you ever think of Ione?
What?
Did you ever think much of Ione?
Yeah. I think she must be beautiful. I think Verdell was probably beautiful too.
Must have been a beautiful set of twins.
Yeah, they all look like my sister.
I was skinny. I didn't look very pretty.
You're still pretty.
Well, we had a
Wonderful to
set
know
of...
when we get up there.
Oh, I think so.
Ione and Verdell.
Would you like Margie?
How old is Verdell? Did she breathe the breath of life?
Verdell? Really, I don't know. I know they said that she was warm and they kept working on her and working, trying to bring her back, but they couldn't. But I know Mama has her, so I'm not worried about it.
You think she was for sure, huh?
Sure.
Do you believe in prophets? Joseph Fielding Smith said that the time of quickening is when the mother feels life comes to her unborn infant. And Brigham Young said that when the mother feels life to her infant, it's the spirit entering the body preparatory to the immortal existence. Bruce R. McConkie says the spirit that enters the body before birth leaves at death and immediately finds itself in the spirit world. So I think they've got every reason to believe that Verdell is her twin and will be, and she'll get to know her.
Do you believe all that?
I do.
Well, Mama told me. She said there was this, and it's the truth. It was this.
This is it, huh?
It was this couple that I guess they were converts to church or something. I don't know. But anyhow, they had their children, and then they went to the temple to be sealed and have their children sealed to them. And they said, so the sealer started out, and he stopped. He said, "Lady, are all your children here?" She looked around and she said, "Yes, they're all here." He started out again, and then he stopped and he said, "Are you sure they're all here?" She said, "Yes, they're all here." He started in again, and he stopped and he said, "Did you have a stillborn?"
Oh.
And she said, "Yes." And he said, "All right, you have to have somebody take that place of that stillborn." Every time I started out, I heard the voice say, "Mama, don't forget me."
Oh.
You know, Martha had the one that was 7 months, and she just faithfully believes that little one's hers. Still remembers her birthday and everything.
I believe science is more and more beginning to agree and to believe that is true.
They got to.
Because they're teaching more and more that the mother, the way she feels about her baby and all that, has an effect on it. And I think that they're proving it more and more all the time. That
A little unborn baby knows if it's loved. It knows if it's wanted or if it's not wanted.
Sure.
Why do they them poor little babies aborted feel?
They have a scar, and unless that's worked and taken from them, it'll affect their whole life.
Dwayne, all right, go ahead, Margie.
Well, Joe told me that he was, I don't know whether he read it in a book or saw it on TV about these unborn babies, and when they die and then they come back, right?
NDE, near-death experience.
Yes, and this woman, her little boy, had one of those experiences, and he was telling her about it, and he says, and while I was there, I played with my little brother. He says, "You don't have a little brother." "Yes, I do."
Uh-oh.
He told me that when you were 14, he was pulled out of you.
Oh.
And I was playing with him. And I thought, boy, all these women that have these things happen to them because they want to are going to have to face those children.
Dwayne was telling me about this doctor that he did abortions, and he believed in them. And so to try to prove his point, when he was going to do another one, well, he was taking a picture of it. I don't know how they do it, but But anyway, he said that he was taking a picture and said that he could see it and said that, and he could see the baby and it went, like that.
Oh.
And then it moved over like it was moving over to the side, you know, so that they couldn't hurt him. And he said that doctor would never do another abortion. He knew then that the baby was alive, and you know, knew it. And he said that he went to Congress or someplace back there, and he tried to tell them, and they wouldn't
listen.
They wouldn't pay attention to him. But he never would do another abortion, because he realized then that that was taking a life.
This little boy, his mother said nobody had ever been told about that abortion.
Oh.
She had never told her parents. Nobody ever knew about it. But the little boy did.
Oh.
When I was working in the temple, a few years back, some of us go down and help with some ceilings, you know. Like, they didn't have enough people, so they asked somebody, like we did, wasn't going to be busy for a while, so we went down, two of us went down as witnesses. And there was an old man, 84 years old. He's going to be seriously watched. He just joined the church just long enough to be able to get to the temple. And he told everybody that she was there. He seen her. She was there beside her.
Oh, he saw her.
I didn't hear that.
A man was going through the temple. He was 84 years old, and he was being sealed to his wife, who had already passed on. But he was still going to be sealed to her. And at the sealing, he told them that she was there by his side.
I believe that.
Right, you know, just very close by.
I wish mine would speak to me.
He would if he could.
He's too busy, Aunt Margie.
What?
He's too busy.
He's building you a new home there.
Putting a cabin on the lake up there.
I think that he's so busy teaching other people.
Maybe that missionary that was killed over in Russia, maybe it was his time to go, so he could teach. Karen told me that Clint, her husband's cousin, he wanted to go on a mission really bad, and he was put in his papers to go on a mission, and they didn't. His call didn't come back. He didn't come back. Finally, this call was sent to the bishop, but the bishop didn't know what to do about it. So he didn't do anything. And then one Sunday, their family went to church. And on the way coming back, a drunk hit their car, and this boy was killed. One that wanted to go on a mission. And then the bishop came and brought the call to him.
Oh.
And his call was to heaven.
Oh my God.
And his call was where?
This boy's call was to heaven. That's where he was to go to preach the gospel. That's why he didn't get his call. And that's why the bishop got it. And that's why the bishop didn't know what to do about it until after he died.
Then it was time enough to tell.
Yeah.
Ray Chapman, when he's up in Utah, there was a boy in there about 14 years of age, and he wanted to get a patriarchal blessing, you know, and so he went to get it, and he was wanting to know about what he was going to do, what was going to happen to him. And it says, you won't be called to serve on a mission. You'll be called to defend your country.
Be called to what?
Defend your country. By the time he's 19, old enough to go, he will be looks like in trouble. So things are getting close.
That's for sure.
I know, I've heard of some of them that when they've got their, I guess, patriarchal blessings, it told them that they would be called back from their mission in defense of the country.
So they would be get to go, but then they'd have to come back.
Let me tell you about Ben, Joe's boy, in Mexico City. He was hit by this hit-and-run driver. The driver was going real fast and he didn't stop. And Ben had 7 ribs broken that pierced his lung.
Oh, man.
And his leg was torn nearly off below the knee. And the fellow on the sidewalk that saw it happen was LDS. He also drove an ambulance. He got that there in short order. They got Ben in it, and he was taking him to the hospital, another fellow with him. And Ben stopped breathing. So they stopped, pulled off to the side, and gave him artificial respiration. Brought him back. He was gone 5 minutes. And then they got him to the hospital. And they used a splint that they'd run screws in here and here to hold his leg so it wouldn't fall off. And they were operating on him all night. His liver was cut where he was bleeding, and they had to get that stopped. And got his ribs in place, and I guess sewed up the little things in his lungs so he could get air in it. And to me, it was just a bunch of miracles happened all along the way. And he was in there in ICU for several days before they tried to do anything about his leg. They said that there was stuff from his leg on the road where he'd been landed. And anyway, they did get his leg fixed, but they had to get some bone off of the thigh to put down here with it. But they got it all fixed. They didn't sew it up, as making sure it didn't get
infection.
Yes, infection.
Gangrene.
And he was in the hospital 2 weeks. And then they took him to the mission home. And the mission home, the president's wife was watching over him. And she wrote him one of these night letters. I've forgotten what you call it, email. Anyway, and said that he was unable to walk up the stairs, so he slept on a couch in the family room that night. And in the meantime, he'd been getting so bored